And gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. My name is Kyle Corvus Crow, and I have the immense privilege of being joined at the desk tonight by the one and only Coco the Dragon. How you doing tonight, Coco?
I'm doing pretty good. I haven't seen the light of day for 48 hours, so I'm looking to see how it's going to be and how the weather is on Summer's Rift today.
Well, I can give you the three-game forecast. We've got Washington State University coming up against Cleveland State University. Only one of them an actual state.
Oh,
Both
okay.
Vikings, however, here to run it down against each other. Cleveland State looking to make a statement. Western Washington, I'm sorry, um, a team that's been in, I believe, CLOL, but not the CSL season, if I understand
Yep,
that correctly.
you are correct.
Well, with that, here's where we'd normally have a pro draft, and I think they've just opted to do a regular draft.
You know what?
So
That's totally fine by me because Pro Draft wasn't working for me anyways. But as it is, we already do see the Thresh being banned out. And just as a reminder for everyone as well, this is just a for fun game. They're just going to have a little bit of a bout between there. As you mentioned as well, one of them isn't even in CSL, they are just in the CLOL bracket. So it is just something where we're going to really see who is the better Viking school between the two. For me, that's really the competition that I'm interested in 2020.
if each team is not first picking Olaf, I'm upset.
I'll be
I think it's
sorely,
just
yeah.
yeah, we're missing
Yes.
out on an opportunity here. If one of them bans it, automatically a Corvus branded coward. And if you don't first pick it, you're leaving something on the table.
Yeah, right. And I already heard that maybe there's some Olafs and a bot lanes that might be going on. It'd be something that you're like, oh, okay, I'd be down to see it. Olaf is notorious for being that like random pocket pick top laner that just like beats the crap out of a lot of people when you just don't respect his conqueror wombo combo at level one with his undertow. But I don't know how well that will work down in the bottom lane when you have two people you need to deal with as Vladimir Pantheon. These are all comfort picks being banned out, so it's really more of a theory craft of how deep the rabbit hole goes with these teams. As a matter of fact, staying pretty true to the competition, hovering Aphelios, and might in fact pick that Senna. So we might be smelling that Olaf Senna fairly shortly here from WWU.
Yeah, Senna, not a bad first pick at all. Something you could definitely flex around there in the bottom lane, but just put it on starvation mode or fasting, and then run through with the Olaf, pick up kills every which way you can because that bot lane's just drawing so much blood. But the Zac pickup over there now for the side of, I believe that's actually, yeah, that's Cleveland State on the
Yep.
red side. Yeah, we never actually officially went over that. It's Western Washington over on the blue side, Cleveland State on the red side, and they're going to come to the table with Nautilus as well. So already some beef to this team comp.
All right, I'm liking it. And also, this is something where I'm going to argue the fact that it's going to be up in the air for flexibility picks. Like Zach could go top, mid, or support, or even jungle if you which chooses. And then there we go. Olaf's in a bot lane. I'm really going to be feeling that one and wondering how well Pinhead and Akbar are going to be throwing that down and really wrecking havoc. Because it also means like who's going to be up against it. What lane are you going to sort of throw? And the Tom Kench, I'm also going to argue, might be going to Top Kench because that also would be a lot of fun to watch. So I'm really wanting to just like shuffle the cards and see how wacky it really comes down and not as traditional as you'd see.
Yeah, certainly kind of an all bets are off style game of League of Legends that we're hopeful to see some of the fun stuff coming out. Already, we do have the tools for that. Could take it boring routes, but certainly the chance to break up and shake up some of the meta this time around. I like the Vayne pick coming into this, just something to have some survivability against the Tom Kench and Olaf because they can really get right up on you, kind of
Yep.
regardless of how mobile you are. But if you're invisible, well, hey, you know what? That's a chance to make some plays happen there, irrespective of Ragnarok, irrespective of the hungry catfish. So, like the pick up there, we'll see what they do come to the table with now as we do get into the second round of bans.
Yeah, the only problem is that you are going to be extremely short ranged walking into a Senna, so you're going to be pretty prone to having a challenge being picked off and dealing with harass. So I want to see if you're going to either be paired up with the Nautilus or the Zac, or possibly something else down the line. Second phase, I can sort of get the smell that they're going to be targeting mid lane and top lane, especially with the Ornn and Yasuo already being gone. So it does give a little bit of an inkling that possibly Set might be taken out as well. He's still on the board, even though he's received a brutish amount of nerfs.
Mm.
He's still a giant ball of stats, as Cassiopeia as well taken away. So Now I'm thinking that they might be looking for a roaming kind of mid laner, especially when you try and take Cassiopeia off the board. Someone that is a little bit stronger early on and doesn't want that sort of handicap of being outscaled eventually with Cassio on side.
Well, with that, the Lysandra, the last one off the table. No surprise pop ups from the Ice Claw coming in this particular match. Don't want to see that one come through on Oh My Days there. I'm assuming that's Oh My Days. Oh My Days? We go Oh My Days.
Yeah. Oh my days. Sounds right. CSU, Cleveland, seeing what they want to pick up first. They will be confined with the last and final pick, so we'll see what their sort of
Ooh.
card wants to be shown. Oriana being locked in. I like that one. Not something you see too often, but it does mean that Zach, it does have one of those flex picks taken out and really starting to get pushed towards the jungle instead. So I'm feeling that they're trying to make sure that Shysept is getting his comfort pick in the top lane. And then from there, we'll just go in and just pick whatever he wants. If he wants to be a split pusher, go for it. If you want something a little bit more cheeky, like a Darius, just to be that pub stomper in a game like this, all power to you. With that Lux being locked in as well, as that would be a pretty nice long range harasser in the early stages in the mid lane.
Well, with this, should give us a little bit more clarity coming in as to what the final composition will be looking like for the side of Western Washington with the Kled lock in starts to kind of put some of these puzzle pieces together for us. And as well, should be meaning that Wrecked by
Mm.
Kakarot's going to be picking up a top laner for Shysep, just something to answer against the likes of that Kled. I don't think anymore you can really argue it's going to be the top Kench.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Like everyone's sort of with those final two being locked in, it kind of solidifies the fact that Olaf will be running in the jungle, Kench and Senna will be sitting in that bot lane just to be that security and that sort of pillar for the team. While you can have Tybo on Olaf just running back and forth between Kled and Lux and just really trying to get his solo lanes online. And with that also locked in, Graves was that final pick. As a matter of fact, we did see just a few days ago that contracts on over in the LCS Academy did play Graves and popped off. So really seeing if Okisaki can really sort of imbue that same kind of spirit and help carry his team forward. He will need to play the same sort of early game performance as contracts did. But in a game like this, when you're having fun, you can catch people off guard pretty easily.
I like it too because you're picking now a jungler for yourself where you one of the most important things is you got to keep pace with the Olaf, right?
Yeah.
You can't just let him outpace you throughout the entire game by picking like a traditional tank or gank heavy jungler and just hanging out and waiting and expecting that game to go right. So, up in the ante, putting something on Graves there for yourself, I think does lend itself pretty well to trying to execute on that. But with that, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we do have our wonderful 3-minute delay. Just a formality we have to get through, keep everything nice and clean and honest here in our online games. We know some of the fans, some of the players watching from home there. So with that, we're going to throw it over to a quick break. Before we do, of course, I want to give huge shout outs to some of the sponsors that keep CSL online and alive. One of those is GameStop, who's been supporting us all year long. We're running some pretty cool tournaments earlier in the year. You can find out more what they're doing to support esports at GameStop.com/esports and just exactly how they're helping out the entire collegiate scene. Next, of course, do want to give a huge shout out to the one and only HyperX, wonderful peripheral company that's been with the CSL for the second half of the season. If you do need a new mouse, new keyboard, headset, any of the wonderful peripherals that HyperX does provide, consider looking into them first because it does actually help us out here at the end of the day in collegiate esports, and some of that gets kicked back to the scene that we all know and love so much. And with that, we got a couple minutes left to go on this delay. We're going to throw it over to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have game number one.
voice in my head, know me, call me, I will be restless. Somehow they chose me. This is my nightlife. Wanna be high life. I feel so reckless. Calling them all night. It's the freedom I shouldn't have, with the people I shouldn't know. I might as well and still I'm that. It's the only thing that I fucking do. Happy on the outside, weary inside, smiling depression. They think I'm alright. It's the freedom I shouldn't have, with the people I shouldn't know. I might as well and still I'm that. It's the only thing that I fucking do. It's not exactly me, I know, but I can't help it. And I call back, you were never here. And I call back, you cannot see me.
Well, thank you for sticking with us through the break, ladies and gentlemen. Finally getting into game number 1 here between Cleveland State University and Western Washington. It is Western Washington over on the blue side, and that means we're going to have our friends Pomeroy in the top lane, Tebow in the jungle, Restaurant opening up and serving out all the dishes in the mid lane, OK Pinhead Larry, and Akbard holding down that bot lane.
Yeah, see that both of these teams are actually grouping up to be giant death balls for level 1. So I'm going to run through Cleveland State really quick. Shy Sept on that top lane, Akasaki on jungle, Oh My Days in mid, Sorlondo in that bottom lane with Wrecked by Kakarot helping him out as they're already slithering into the bushes, seeing if they can find themselves some Western Washington blood.
Well, we'll find out here. This could be actually tragic for them. They're going to get spotted out. Akasaki is rooted up already. His health bar is so low to start, and that's already the first blood coming out. Western Washington, they want more, though. That's going to be 2. They're going to get this Zac passive right off the rip. And Shysept having a bad start of things as well.
And that is why you always look both ways before you cross the river in any case, no matter what happens, online or not. Because there's always going to be someone who waits just a little bit longer with the rest of the team. And, you know, they came in, they wanted the vision on that blue buff to see where Tebow was going to start. But we saw immediately after that, Sorlondo and Wrecked by Kakarot went and recalled. So it wasn't a 5v5. It was just a scramble for how many people could get out alive. And unfortunately, it was only one getting away with their skin, which was Oh My Days. But You know, I was saying Okisaki on Graves, you need to start going early. You need to start getting aggressive and have some tempo. It's going to be really difficult to do that when you're already a death down.
Yeah, certainly not looking good to start things off here. You do have the Kled and the Olaf, the first two to get those kills as well. Just has to sting a little bit. WWU feeling pretty good about their start on this one. Cleveland State, they did at least pick, I think, a jungler that can catch up well for himself, is the good news there for Graves. But yeah, that is obviously not ideal to kick things off, and now you got to start looking around the rest of the map going, well, where are we going to find some of these advantages? Maybe the bot lane. That's what they want to get in on heavy. They know the Sen on Tomcatch. It's punishable early, and so that's what they're trying to do.
Nice hook. They hit the level 2 first because at least they were able to run down there a little bit quicker, and they just hard shoved that wave as fast as possible. You saw like Wrecked by Kakarot also using his shoulder plate a little bit more than Akbar has been. So this is where this game is going to be just like an entire lesson for Okisaki on how fast he could catch up. Like, it is a legit speed run for him because you need to get out early because a lot of your lanes aren't really as primed and ready for ganks as T-Bow's will. Like, when you're jungling and you're trying to think of ganks, especially in these early stages, like once you hit level 3, you have to look at like what the champions, like what your team provides you, right? Like, you have no lockdown as Graves. Like, you have to walk into that lane and then look for damage. Where if you have someone who has crowd control, like Shysept in his top lane against a little bit of a squishier Pomeroy's Kled, that might be somewhere to look for as T-Bow tries to throw an undertow mid.
Yeah, we had a flash out from that one early enough. Now the bot lane, the center of the action, hooked on in. Akbar popping solo. He's flashed out of that one, and the heal just barely keeps him alive, but the action's still going. Maybe here in the mid lane, maybe not. They want to taper this one off. No one knows what to do. No one knows where to look. All chaos across the map right now. And that's A-okay. It's going to be two nice sets of trades coming out, both to the favor of Cleveland State off of that one now. Burning a couple key flashes, getting some summoners mid. Trading them back, though, on Oh My Days for Orianna.
Yeah, and that is exactly what you want, especially for Okisaki. Like, the fact that you were able to get those summoners down is perfect. Now you can sort of put an interest in going mid. Sure, maybe Oh My Days doesn't have like the crowd control to help secure those ganks, but Restaurant might get a little bit over aggressive. If you force that back and then sort of catch them in a momentum, then you're able to sort of get in behind them and really get a nice little pincer maneuver with Oh My Days. And it goes for both actual like junglers. Like, T-Bow can do the exact same thing. If you want to push out that lane, go for it. But the other thing too is you have to look at this bottom lane as well, just for Cleveland State, because Cleveland wants to get out of this lane ahead. You can't really go even with like a Tomcatch Senna. Like, this is a lesson that everyone knows at this point, because they just want to sit back and relax and just like let a lot of weight off of their jungler's shoulders for gank potential and scaling, right? So it's like, if you are able to never have to look bottom lane unless you're interested in a dragon, it's so much easier than being
They got a hook coming in. They want to go in for a fight here. Flashing out for Pinhead Larry means no further pushing. Okisaki, he thought about it for a second, didn't chase that one. So they will taper it on off. Sorry to interrupt you there, Coco.
No worries. Yeah, but that's what we want from Okisaki, though. Like, he might be able to bring some pressure down to where T-Bow can no longer say, oh, well, bot lane's fine, I don't need to worry about them, right? And then be able to just carry on with no problems and look somewhere else for resources. It is Infernal Dragon as well, so I think that's another thing that Cleveland should possibly look for, right? Just see if they can go ahead, get some extra pressure. You have the more damaging bottom lane in those 2v2 trades, especially when they don't have a turret to hide under. And then go in, throw them off, get some vision denial, and then just take the dragon. So Okasaki's Graves just does a brutish more damage later on as well. But, you know, sitting that moment, he was spotted out by that scuttler, so they know this gank is coming.
They do want to find it here. Shot back around. No huge chance to come in onto that one. And we'll just cheese right on off. Everybody's happy to go. The warding coverage, fantastic, and has certainly saved some lives on the side of Western Washington here this time around. Surely they have to know what's going on, though, for the side of Okisaki. He's looking to clear those out. He's doing this on vision, but he did just spot a ward. Meanwhile, hang on, Pinhead Larry, yeah, he's in trouble. Can Akbar get him out of this one? So Orlando goes maybe a little too deep, and that one's picked up by the Kench.
Oh, that's so unfortunate trying to get that, and that is the defense.
Oh, you're kidding me! What a flash! What a hook! Wrecked by Kakarot absolutely slams down Pinhead Larry. He's added to a long list of those wrecked by Kakarot, but now Akasaki trying to get out of this one. Does get hit up by the Lux Ult. The flash undertow means Tebow throws it like Tim straight from downtown. Scores. That's a beautiful drive.
Yeah, and he kneels down and grabs a blue buff for himself as well. So now all that pressure is down on the side of Western Washington. They could say, you know what, take these extra camps. You know, I would have also been like super greedy and said, hey, actually, I can probably take the Gromp pretty quickly. Your smite's up fairly soon, and you're not going to be able to take the dragon in time whatsoever. So like, you take the Gromp, he's not going to come bottom lane because he knows that you're down there anyways. So clear his camps, get some free extra gold in there as well, and then you know what? Have some extra money to go back and really get your item. Like, you're already able to get your Warriors Enchantment already. As I also see Shysep just warding off that gank and tower dive from Pomeroy.
Yeah, a little bit of a top lane action there. Both going, I think, considerably low. Both have teleport and flash, so I doubt we'll see any kills, especially just considering I do believe the passive for Zach is up by now. Yeah, Cell Division ready to rock and roll at a moment's notice, so dangerous pushing there for the likes of Pomeroy. We'll see if he does want to keep that pressure up and alive. He's certainly, though, in no pressure to do that. He's got 30 CS up already, only 8 minutes in on this one, so feeling really good about the advantage that he got done push out there.
Yeah, and to see actually that Tebow saying, you know what, I've been so far ahead, might as well take this dragon as well. Goes ahead and does it free of charge, because now all of that pressure, because that he won that invasion in that bottom side, there's really no actual like confidence for Okazaki on this bottom end. But because you get that global notification, you can go ahead and take Rift Herald, no problem, and just say, you know what, this is okay, this is fine. It's just the first dragon. We can give up the first two if we need to, but once it gets to the official soul and the map changes, then you really need to put your foot down and start being heckin' concerned. As we see actually Kakarot just walking in for some trading, flexing his muscles as it is.
Yeah, you know, he's the only member of his team with a kill, so we'll give him a little bit of a pride stride here this time around. He's allowed to have it. Did have that sick flash in, killed Pinhead Larry. Feeling pretty good about that one. But now another hook from downtown wants to find it, getting in onto the Tomkins, trying to do it, but his health bar's low. They get the summoner healed down to just make up for that one. Here comes Sorlando, stunned against the wall. Larry is low. Do they have anything to finish this one? They're going to go under tower, but not enough to make anything else happen there. They will back off happy as can be. It's a nice trade. All things considered, another hook, though. I don't know if you keep pressuring this one out. 1-to-1 on summoners. You use your summoner heal. You took their flash off of Akbar, off the Tomkins. It's okay, but don't push your luck.
Yeah, don't push your luck here whatsoever. Like, you had to use your summoner heal down there as well, and they still have theirs up and available, and then Flash is coming in for Pinhead Larry on top of that. So now you're really down summoners for the next minute or so, but if you're able to find a cheese, sure, that's always great if that does arise, but even then, it's so difficult to do that against a Senekench lane. Meanwhile, everything else in this game has been going fairly calm. Like, nothing has happened mid ever since that early sort of check-in from both Tebow and Okazaki. Both of the summoners are back up for Oh My Days in Restaurant, and really, they're neither of them are anything. But hold on, here's a TP coming in.
Yeah, hang on. Shysept, he wants to find it. Tebow is there. They're trying to get in, or maybe just out of this one. Wrecked by Kakarot, trying to do what he can, but the Cell Division already down for the one and only Shysept. That's going to be picked up all cleanly. It's just a matter of who wants to take it. It's going to be Tebow getting the credit.
Yeah, unfortunately, just trying to reach too far, and Sorlando had already been poked out fairly quickly from Pinhead Larry and Akbar. Like, that's the punishment that you have. Like, you pick Vayne for the late game scaling and just being able to take down whatever front line is thrown at you, but your laning phase is just so difficult, especially when you are walking into a Senna. And Restaurant getting the, like, you know, it's something where looking at WWE Western Washington, it's just obnoxious dealing with this team.
Oh, it's painful. It hurts. And speaking of hurts, right under tower there, that's going to be the attempt, but Tebow maybe feeling a little bit fumbled on that one. That's going to be a kill nicely down now to Oh My Days. Orianna going to be happy to have that one in the bank. And I believe they'll reset pressure very nice and easy here right in the bottom lane. Return pretty easily, I would think, without losing too much in the respect of plates as well. And meanwhile, the proxy farm for Pomeroy, he's so far ahead in this top lane. He can just chill here completely undisturbed. Already built it up now to almost a 60 CS lead. Ooh,
60
hang on,
CS,
actually,
pretty
they're
darn
coming to
crazy.
get him. They want him. This is going to be big. Can Sorlando get in for this? He wants the shots. He's going to get a flash out of it.
Oh,
He
there you
flashes
go.
in for himself right into the brush, and the shutdown goes over clean.
Very nice. You know, at least that roam came in and was able to turn that one around. That's what happens when you get a little bit greedy and try and do some proxy farming. Everyone's eyes just divert up there because it's like the biggest way to dig underneath a top laner's skin. But hold on,
Ooh,
Restaurant
flash
taking some
in.
damage.
They want that one. Restaurant's going to be so low, and Sorlando picks it up clean. The flash hooks by Kakarot, man. I love it. And a Rift Herald pop. Beautiful.
And this is actually amazing for Sorlando because he just got out of laning phase. Like, once he was able to get away from Pinhead and Akbar, he's been just able to catch back up. Sure, it is that fasting Senna. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to deal with, like, that scaling poke into this mid game, but that tankiness is no problem. Akbar will still just be a piece of paper compared to a late game of Vayne. So all you need to do now, you know, get some turret plates under you, bump yourself up to around 1,300 gold in your pocket, and let Oh My Days deal with this, right? Like, you have the wave clear from Ori, no need for it.
Bad news for Shysep. Did they let this one go? He goes under tower for it. Is actually going to die. Feels like a little bit of a miscalculation by Timu. He thought he had that one clean, and maybe just let it get a little bit away from him.
As long as he said worth in all chat, I will give him the pass on that. And let me check. Sad face, you know, I think that's okay. You know, sad face is fine. I'll give that one a win, though, for Shysep because you're able to sort of get him into his mind and tilt him with that big frowny. But, you know, next dragon is available. It is going to be that Cloud Dragon. So if they're able to sort of prioritize this one and get it for where there are cooldowns on either side of these teams, we're going to be pretty darn nice to have. But at this point, if I'm Cleveland, I just say, you know what, take the L, let them have it. Let's go look elsewhere. Like, let's look mid and get that first brick turret for free. But actually,
I do like the way they were able to disengage there. That was nicely done by the side of Cleveland, just to hold things off. And now they do have the chance to come back in if they do want to challenge this Cloud Drake. It's going to be the only one coming, but not like that. That is not the way you do that one, Oh My Days. Try to get back into this. Wait for the Nautilus to engage. That's what they want to do. Here's Vayne on the sideline. Can they make anything happen, or are they just on the way out? Because Shysep, he just died, and he's going right back to the grave again. Restaurant makes sure of that one. Is now Kakarot on the way out. It's a nice shockwave to find 3. Can it be anything else? So Akasaki can't keep Akbar off of him, and now he's trying, but he's eaten up, and the catfish gets away. What else can they do? Pinhead Larry gets onto Oh My Days, and that one's taken down. Do they really not lose anything here? Is Western Washington that insane?
And, well, that's what I wanted for Cleveland State to not do at all. It was just say, back off, you can't win this fight right now. You were 4,000 gold at the start of that. Now you're 5,000 gold down. And it was all just because Oh My Days walked in a little bit too far. That's unfortunate that Okazaki just took that hit.
Okazaki, guys! That's not how you do it. The oceans bring life, but not to Cleveland State. They are feeling this one hard right now.
You know, I know you're red team, but you don't need to dye the rivers red as well, especially like just going in like that. It's just way too ambitious, buddy. Like, I love the confidence. I love the gun-ho-ofness, but that ain't it, Chief.
Yeah, that one stings, and now they're going to lose tower as well. It's actually only first tower. The game feels like it's got a little bit more of a disparity than that, just with everything that's been going on. But top lane, despite the fact that there's such an immense deficit, still 50 CS.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten Flame Horizon yet, so we got that going for us, which is pretty nice. Pomeroy just... Like, this is the thing, right? Like, with Cleveland, like, their composition is nice once it gets to 2 items. Like, once they're able to get to where Vayne has not only the Blade of the Ruin King, but also like a Phantom Dancer or Winston's Rage Blade as well. But, you know, might be able to get that with this kill.
They want to find Pomeroy, yeah. This kill, we're talking like it's a granted. They definitely want to die for it. It's a matter of what all they might leave behind for it, because he's so strong. Pomeroy just surviving through that, and look at the Lux ult. They're coming in huge. They want to find that one, and now wrecked by Kakarot gets wrecked by Pomeroy. Oh My Days, too, wandered a little too far up for that one, and Restaurant finds the kill. Akasaki, the last one on this one, surely going to go down. He's just buying himself a little bit of time, but the downtown, it's all a matter who it's going to be, and Pomeroy, he gets credit.
Yeah, very nice on that one, but this is sort of one of those things where it was a test of a theory, I would say, for Cleveland. We're saying, you know what, we're a little bit behind. Let's step on the pedal and see if that'll speed us up in this game. did not turn out the way that they wanted, and the fact that Pomeroy did not fall during that, so it was an absolute 3-for-0 trade, it just causes a much bigger difference and differential between these teams. Now from that 5,000 to, I think that's 8,000 gold down,
Mercy.
almost 9 actually,
Actually,
9,000
we're
gold.
looking at a clean 10 here.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Okay, 9. Yeah.
Almost. If they take another turret, it would probably be a clean 10 after that, as a matter of fact. As they take this with Rift Herald, yeah, it's going to be there pretty soon for Corvus. They're going to knock this down to 10,000.
And another pop for the Rift Herald, almost certainly here. I mean, this is just going to look amazing there.
Yep.
Coming out now for the side of Western Washington. They're going to knock this tower down, perhaps. They have the minions here to do it, and the damage to get behind them. Yeah, the tower does fall. They don't want to push any further. They are going to back off, but look at the top lane. They already do have the split pressure building there as well.
Yeah, and already, you know, it's only 17 minutes in. It's 15 kills to 5. Ogasaki almost got absolutely clapped by that Senna ulti as well. So it's like, already I'm getting this vibe from both these teams that this is not a for fun game. They're not trying to see who the best Viking is. This is a full out skirmish. Like, this is us trying to theorize how well we would do in that competitive environment. They're trying to learn as much as possible from both of the teams, but also really want to put their foot down and say, you know what, we will be stronger than you when we meet you in any tournament that we come into.
Hey, I like it. You know what? Who plays League of Legends for fun? Not us. That's not what we do here. We play to win. No, certainly
Winning
not.
first, having fun second. That's my rule, at least.
That's plenty. Hey, you're in good company in the collegiate sphere. There are plenty of people here that take this game as the most serious priority in their entire lives, and that's an interesting. You know,
I'd put school first. I don't know about that one.
So I'll soapbox just a little bit. You know, I'm sure many gamers, myself included, grew up kind of hearing, "Oh, you'll never make any money at video games. They're never for any purpose, right?" These players are playing for scholarships, right?
Right.
You know, we're given opportunities to, as a job, to be here on a casting desk. This is, you know, esports has gotten to a point where it can really be, as a career, I think, for many people, quite a valid option here. You see, though, if Akasaki can get out of this one alive, he's in some real trouble. Pinhead Larry just cleans right through that. Stunned under tower, though, is Pomeroy. And maybe this one could be coming back for Sorlando. It's going to be a nice brush play, and look at that. No chance. Don't even need the Senna. That one's taken out in the way early. Now the tower, the next line of focus for Western Washington. WWU coming right at you.
Yeah, WWU looking to see if they can get a third W into their name with this one. Also, if they can also get this turret down here as well. Like, from here on out, it's just that death timer, right? Like, how much time is left on the clock until you have Cleveland's Nexus explode? And it's just Cleveland seeing if they can find any hiccups whatsoever. But here you go with that fight.
Yeah, it's starting off. That's going to be Restaurant rampaging to get the Nautilus out to begin with. That's their engage. That's their defense. And now the front line down. Oh, my days. Falls like water. That's going to be a cell division pop as well, coming out for the likes of Shysef. No chance he survives that. The double kill already down. Akasaki, Sorlando, what can they do? Pomeroy. Well, he's found it's a shutdown, but at what cost? They already lose one. Sorlando, he's not getting back to the fountain steps either, baby. That's another one taken down. They got the inhibitor. They got the minions. And Coco with a quadra kill, an ace. I think they got game number 1.
Yeah, that's going to be the game here for Western Washington. We already know who the best Viking is in the jungle. It is Tebow. They're going to be hunting down our boy Kakarot just because you want to pad those numbers as much as possible. You know, death timers are still pretty low. Oh my days is back up. You get the pentakill though. Like, yeah, it's something where you just want to come into the next game and really make sure that the websites know who was the carry.
You know, hey, if that's what they're looking for, if that's the way they want to find it, I think they're building themselves quite well to do it. Not going to overstay, not going to commit too hard. You know, you fumble here, you could theoretically give up some pretty big objectives. First of the Ocean Trade, not that you want to leave that one on the table. It's probably too weak for them to do Baron on the side of Cleveland State, but that is certainly, I mean, you die hard enough, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, very true. But it's more the fact that it's like, if you gave that up, you really don't lose anything outside of like shutdown gold. Like the shutdown gold would be big. Like if Tebow died, if Restaurant died, if like every single one of them did actually fall and get aced, then it's like, okay, yeah, that's a loss. That's like a lot of gold going back into the pockets of Cleveland State. But it's whatever. They're playing it slow, I suppose. I was saying that like respawn timers are still fairly short. So if you want to just say, you know what, let's be completionists. Let's get the turrets. Let's get the Baron. Let's get the Dragon. Let's just go for it. So now they can reassess to that mid side and really push in, battering ram it down. Say, hey, do we want to take Baron? The thing is, like, they're not really a neutral objective taking team for Baron. Like, they don't actually do that much damage to it. So there is still a threat from Okazaki that could possibly steal.
Yeah, I think they just have, a neutral objective taking lead kind of for themselves here. Oh, Sepp does not get the slingshot over the wall. I don't know if that's what he's looking for, but doesn't find it either way. And now they're just going to keep him busy with Pomeroy here. Maybe more than busy, taking him right to the grave, and that's clearing his schedule there. Okazaki not getting out of that one. Tibu dominating through this one. Everyone participating on that one. I think they're just peeling off the Baron. They say, hey, we've got the entry kills that we need. Do we go back to this? Do we restart it? No, yeah, they kept it alive.
Yeah,
they kept it alive.
This is the thing, right? Like, when we were watching the fight, like, when Pomeroy engaged, they were still just cresting the 50% health marker, and they, like, for Baron, and they were on that for at least like 7-8 seconds, which pretty darn slow. That's just showing you how obnoxiously slothy this team is for taking neutral objectives. But everything else, yeah, totally fine. You want to zone them? Sure. You want to engage on them? Go for it. You want free car insurance? Ask your local service advisor. But no, don't worry about that one. It's getting
we're worried about the fight breaking out. This is a Senna ult coming down. It's already a shutdown, though. They did clean up one back, but Tibu, godlike, trying to push through for more. Pomeroy is here. The shockwave finds him, but no damage on top of it. It just groups them together. Big old group hug as this inhibitor saying goodbye to it one last time, because I don't even think we're going to get a time to respawn with these Barons charging down the mid lane like they are. Coming in supers as well in the bot lane. Okazaki, he's going to go for another death. Why not? We'll make it 0-8. This is just trying to find it on through there. Restaurant dominant. Hits him with the proc of the Ludens. Tibu gonna find this one as well. No deaths for him just yet, and Wrecked by Kakarot finally falls. That's the double kill coming out to end the game. They get another ace, 30-7, and 18K gold in the lead. Western Washington State make a statement.
Yeah, I say they could have gotten 20K, but that's just game one.
Hey,
they
don't get to see it, right? They don't know. They just have a good guess.
Yeah, right. It is a good gander. Like, you could definitely try in that one, but nonetheless, they do take that win fairly handedly. So now it just comes down to how quickly all these teams want to jump into the next game and run through the draft. So for this one, I'm excited to see what Cleveland will bring in to see, like, with a counter, if they have anything up to par.
Generally, when you take a loss like that, I mean, you're doing one of two things. You're busting out all the stops if you held anything back. This is the time when you pull out your crazy champion, or, it's just like you're trying to see if your pasta's cooked and you're throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks. So either way, I'm excited. Generally, these games tend to be a little bit more fun here. We are trying to see if the players are ready to get in without throwing it over to break. So we're going to try to make that happen if we can here. It's just a matter of the players themselves.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that one. But for everyone else at home, this is a really interesting time for us, for not only just the current social environment, but also for the league competitive scene as well, because a lot of reworks are actually coming into fruition, right? Like, we have Fiddlesticks coming in, we've got a mini rework coming in from Wukong. We had the patch notes as well that came in from 10.6, which had sort of his trickster changes as well as his passive was adjusted just a little bit. So that's why we saw that Wukong ban, was because it's just like he goes into the top lane and he has like nuts armor. He's insane, but his AP, his AP matchups, a little bit more difficult to deal with. So it's something where once we get to that crest of going over and all those reworks are applied, and we have the new Wukong ultimate and the Fiddlesticks rework, I'm really interested to see how the collegiate leagues will really adapt to them.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we do tend to be the kind of the waterfall on down, just in terms of what the meta comes to us. Generally high level solo queue kind of sets a lot for the pros, and then the pros set a lot for the collegiate scene and the rest of us on the meta. So collegiate, I do think, has a little bit better of a finger on the pulse there, though, than just because it's made up of so many members of high level solo queue. So curious to see at the end of the day how they are able to adapt to some of those changes, because like you said, it's going to be a pretty big shakeup across the board. I think, just given everything that is happening, that Riot is changing with the game right now.
Yeah. Like, well, what's your funnest thing right now? Like, what are you really interested in to see with the changes that are coming through?
You know what? It's so I'm like a two trick pony, man. I'm if Thresh is top tier, I'm playing Thresh. And if not, it depends if Morgana's any worse than Thresh, right? Those are the
True.
two supports that I know and can convincibly win in silver with. Um, I'd say this Mundo support been working pretty well for me in silver, just because no one can dodge cleavers. And then I'll play with my friends that are better, and people can dodge cleavers, and you don't win with Mundo support. So stay away from that
True.
one outside of silver. But if you're in Nilo where people cannot dodge cleavers, I encourage you to test this out.
No, that or you go like Senna Zac or Senna Mundo. Like
That could be
you
fun.
get the lockdown with Senna, and then you can just throw the cleavers anyways. Because
No one in
for
silver
some
can
reason,
play Senna. That's the unfortunate part.
yeah, I guess,
The
but
fasting never breaks. You
true.
just keep fasting and die.
Very true. Well, maybe it's just one of those practice things. Like with me, when I go down to the like lower ranks, like I have a bronze account. I play with a friend of mine, and we do Yumi Swain bottom lane.
Ooh,
And it's just where like I get the E, I sort of run them with the passive, Yumi gets the free Q, and it actually like pulls them into her ultimate when it's level 6, and you just get massive damage.
nice.
Problem is, not a lot of people know how to like survive laning phase. So even though we're going in and we're 10-0, both mid and top are also 0-10. So it's just
Mm.
sort of a battle of like which duo is stronger, the duo solo lanes or the duo bot.
Yeah, no, it certainly does feel like many games go that way at that certain elo, and I know that's something that plenty of high elo players are no stranger to. Either one lane just completely, hey, top diff made the difference this game. It was all completely topsy turvy there. We'll see whether or not that tends to be. Yeah, it doesn't happen a ton at the collegiate level, or as much rather as you might see in the solo queue.
Yeah.
Certainly wasn't the case this game. I think the difference was pretty evenly spread across every role here coming out.
Yeah, I think so actually. Like if you looked at that last game, all of the KDs are pretty much fairly close to each other. Outside of like, well, the Tebow pentakill was there.
Yeah.
That sort of like shot him off. But
So
everyone else was fairly close.
you can make the argument that that certainly Sorlando and Wrecked by Kakarot kind of had the best lane for themselves there,
Yeah.
as they were really able to trade pretty effectively throughout bottom lane. Weren't able to kind of capitalize on that as well when I think started getting into a bit more of those mid game fights, and it
Mhm.
all started going topsy turvy for them there. But now, as we're getting into draft number 2, we're actually ready to see how they are able to maybe adapt, change things up. Bans looking similar thus far. Vladimir Thresh been taken off the table for Western Washington. And I believe the Wukong Rengar also things that Cleveland State did opt to knock off there. No
Yeah.
Olaf.
Yeah. And sitting here, I'm like interested to see if Sorlando and Wrecked by Kakarot will run it back and actually do the Vayne Nautilus again. I'd like to throw that one in there because I think they were the best lane that they had, and honestly, you still need some sort of late game security. So we do have the
Ooh,
set come in this time. He went through the entire draft last game, but now he actually jumps in now, and it's a question of will he actually just sit top lane and be traditional and get hard countered by someone like a Kennen, or will he be running a little bit more untraditionally and be fist fight in the jungle?
that is the curious question there. Is does just love to run and punch whatever he can find. It just seems where they send him. I think with the Zach taken away now, Shisev picked that one up for himself last time. Won't get to play it as it is snatched up. Now, a question of Pomeroy or Tibu picking that one for themselves. Does it go against Set? Do you take them both jungle? Do you run top? All the fun flex questions are starting to roll around up in our heads again. And this may, what Akasaki picks, may lend a little bit to that, but I'm thinking he's going to go for something bot lane. Actually wants the Veigar. Very curious to see how they're going to play this one.
I like it. Honestly, you want to do a Vigar support, have fun with it. I don't know if it's going to be the greatest into a Senna bottom lane, though, because she will just sort of poke you out. That interaction is still sort of foggy for me, but if you want to run it, go for it. Mid lane might be a little bit more awkward because you are blind picking it, and they would be fairly easy for someone to just like pick something else and hard counter you and go absolutely insane in the lane and then just become uncontrollable once it gets to mid game conversion and starts roaming. My days picks up that Caitlyn for Sorlando, so I can see that they're trying to counter Senna with poke for poke. Now the question is like, who are you going to pair him with? Like Morgana just got grabbed up, has been seen in the mid lane recently in the collegiate scene, so could still be run there. But I'm expecting Senna Morg is actually going to be the formula.
Yeah, I think Morgana was actually banned out last time around too.
Yeah.
I can't remember which side it was banned on, but it might have been where the Olaf ban is now this time for him. So if that's the case, Cleveland State maybe having something to worry about here for themselves, but so far nothing is the same from their last composition, and now the bans start to come. Well, I know the TK gave them some trouble there. They're betting against that one being a Morgana support then, if they're at least trying to take that option away for flexing it as hard by getting the Tom Kench off the table. So you can't pick that one, can't run it against us, no problems, not too worried about it. I do like that the tank line, well, yeah, you saw him steal just a couple away from the jaws of death in that last game.
Yeah. So that one, I'd say it's not only does it like hard counter that and make sure that you don't have that super security lane to the bottom, it also means that you're also forcing Morgana into this bottom lane as well for taking away that better option, right? So now it's like, okay, well, this will still keep us this like keep this security lane, excuse me, and then you can pick that hard counter still against Vigar and have another option. But at this point, you still like it's Western Washington who will have that last counter pick, and they're saving it for this mid support trade off. So they're going to give Gnar against Set, who is pretty much the same as Kennen, does have that long range to just deal with the with like the boss, but it's like I don't know. I don't know if that's actually a winning matchup outside of lane. Like you sure mini Gnar wins, but big Gnar doesn't win against Set. And then Jinx being hovered,
That would
I
be
highly
surely
doubt.
not. Yeah, no, the Orn
Okay,
pick colors this one a little bit more clearly for us here.
yeah. Okay. So this also means that you could still question whether Set or Ornn is going to be going top because you have mid still available. I'm still going to bet my butt that Vigar is going to be going either mid or support. But if that Janna's locked in, then it gives me this inkling that Janna top, then you're going to have a Set in the jungle with Ornn mid and Caitlyn Vigar support. That's what I would say, but I bet it's not, and it's going to be Caitlyn Janna bot lane and then Vigar mid with a Set in the jungle still, and then Ornn in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because if you looked at this picture a few months ago, and granted a few months ago, set I know big question marks, right? But if you looked at this picture a few months ago and mentioned Janna anywhere but the supporting role, people would call you cracked out of your mind. It's funny just the way
Yeah.
that this game changes so quickly here, and very curious to see how they do trade
Oh.
these ones out, or maybe if they're position swapping. But nope, does just look like kind of the more traditional one, set jungling this time around. They don't want to run him up against the Gnar. They'd rather just put the Ornn in. We know Gnar Ornn. We've seen it pretty much the entirety of either last season or the season before, and I can't remember which. They just run together, right? But one
Yeah.
season was just, I mean, we had Gnar Ornn the same way we had Mundo Shyvana in season 4, right? It was just
Yeah.
like, oh, which one are you going to play in the top lane? So both of these guys should be very, very familiar with this one. Okasaki coming onto the set now, hopefully making a little bit more of a splash in this game than he was able to on the Graves last time. And Oh My Days still just picking up a, I think, high burst heavy kind of zoning control mage in Vega there. So curious to see, though, the Black Shield going to make his life pretty difficult, I think.
Honestly, like we also had that misfortune be the last pick for Western Washington. This is where I'd actually straight up pull the meme and say, do the composition that I wanted instead of the composition that's more traditional. Like put Vigar in the bottom lane, because then what you can do is you put Janna in top lane, put Ornn mid. Ornn have to deal with like he can deal with Morgana. It's totally fine. He can wave clear and he can deal with magic damage. Janna can also do the same with Gnar and like just zone and just deal with it and actually can set up for set. And then Vigar actually has catch potential against Misfortune. Like Caitlyn's able to get some damage, knock down that movement speed. You throw the baby cage in. She has no actual way of getting out of that baby cage except for flash, and then just destroy her with the just brutal amount of base damage that Caitlyn and Vigar would have in that bottom lane. Like that's what I really want to have, but it's just like sadly, like my rant is going to be moot anyways, as we only have just 2 minutes until we get back into game.
Yeah, of course. Well, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking for a collegiate League of Legends coach, Coco the Dragon, one of the best minds in the game. But plugs aside, well, actually, not aside, because we do have a couple plugs for our wonderful sponsors. Just going to give quick little shout outs, little love taps there to GameStop and HyperX for doing everything they do to keep us on the air. And with that, we're going to be killing these 90 seconds with a little bit of a break. And when we come back, we'll see if Western Washington can close it out in 2 games or if CSU can make anything happen on the return. Don't go anywhere.
Military tech. Fun.
Well, thank you for sticking with us through the break, ladies and gentlemen. Ready to get going here now in game number 2. We've had a side swap, but the rest is the same. Western Washington leading the series from the red side of the map, and Cleveland State looking to claw things back from the blue.
Yeah, then from the blue, indeed, being on blue side. Who'd have thought? That's amazing. I love your puns.
What a world we
They're
live
so-
in.
they're so-
Technology
they're so
these
great.
days.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
this time they're being careful as to not overextend a little too far. You know, the roaming death ball certainly lived up to its name, but I think backfired just a little bit. Maybe a you know, Wile E. Coyote status. They had the big old trap and it blew right up in their face. Don't buy from Macmico.
Yeah, I love it for them. The fact that they're just doing safety instead. Like, if you want to see a 3-game series, you do want to see Okazaki start out without a 0-1 lead in his KD, and then be able to actually look for some ganks, because every single lane really is sort of the same story. Like, he has to sort of catch his opponent off guard rather than his team helping set up those ganks. Like, Pinhead and Akbar, they have to actually be a little bit aggressive on Sorlando and Kakarot to actually get the attention of Okazaki to come down for a gank outside of just like relieving pressure. And same thing goes with Oh My Days and Shysep. Like, you need them pushed outwards into the lane to where they're sort of in a dangerous place already for your ganks to go off. Where Tibu can just be Tibu and gank from any single avenue of approach, and can gank from the gank from those small little corners on the sides. I completely brain farted on what those called.
He's got the options all for himself, irrespective of nomenclature. He's fine for it. He doesn't need to know what they're called.
Oh,
He
the
needs to know how they
alcoves,
work.
that's
The
what-
alcoves, yeah. Doesn't need to know what they're called. Needs to know how they work. And they work for getting him a little bit of gold and EXP on those free kills anywhere he can look to find them. But, you know, Zach does have a slower start on the jungle. We saw him do okay in the top lane to kick things off early enough. I say okay, falling behind in CS, but trading in terms of the health and not dying under towers, that didn't go exactly poorly for the likes of Shysep last time. This time, see what he can shake up for himself around now. Zach being the jungler, it's going to take just a little bit longer to get going.
Yeah, just a little bit to really get the ball rolling in a sense of just like initial clear. Once he hits level 3, then it's sort of something where he technically doesn't need to get his red buff unless he just wants to regenerate some base health just to prepare more readily for those ganks. There's a binding on both the bottom side and the mid side, as a matter of fact. So both of these two are actually looking pretty hungry for Okazaki and Tibu to possibly gank around here eventually. Though you do need to get those summoner spells offline for Restaurant and Pinhead to really just sort of feel any sense of consequence.
That's a tougher, I think that's easier said than done, right? Pinhead,
Oh, yeah.
Restaurant, these both have been, I think, playing quite well for themselves thus far. I do like that, well, at least now the side of Cleveland, they're taking it aggressive, and Pinhead actually forcing that flash, I'm sorry, the heal early, not the flash, still has that in his pocket. Getting that heal out early for himself feels really good there on this Caitlyn John lane, and being able to push and punish as cleanly as they have thus far. Maybe speaking to just a little bit of a change up.
He would have died. He would have died there. Now, there is something else and that we have not mentioned yet, is that Pinhead Larry is running Omni Stone on Misfortune. Not something you'd usually see. You'd usually see press the attack. So this is something that might dampen the laning phase a little bit more for the side of Western Washington, just because of the anonymity, sort of randomness.
Coming in with it. That's first blood picked up beautifully done now by Sorlando.
That was disgusting. What the heck was the damage? I did not expect that to happen. But they were just able to
I don't think they did either, right?
No. What the heck? All right.
Who's there? First blood. Boom. Taken out quick and cleanly. Got to feel good about that one if you are the side of Cleveland State. You've been looking for that revitalization. Maybe you've been saying to yourself in team comms this entire time, hey, look, that first game was all lost for us at level 1. Just reset. Just refocus up. We're going to be fine. Well, they're proving it to themselves right now, at least in the bottom lane. If they can just kind of keep from hemorrhaging too badly anywhere else, this lane has the potential to carry them. So, oh my days, staying consistent in CS, good for him. Shysep, not absolutely getting gutted in the top lane on CS right now. Good for him. Just keep this momentum. Keep that same energy.
Yeah, and like you look at their team and you say, okay, well, what points are they strong? Well, Sorlando and Kakarot, fairly strong in the early game just because of Caitlyn's laning phase. Very good at dealing damage, as we had seen, and I don't think Pinhead or Akbart have really been respecting that either. They've been just sort of walking into those headshots, trying to contest for CS, while the Janna Shield does provide a lot of punch in these early stages, still, especially with that laning phase buffer that Caitlyn provides. Everywhere else is sort of, all right, wait until we get to 1-2 items. Like, oh my days, still fairly weak. He can do that wave clear game with Morgana, because if you're not putting a max amount of number into your pool, you don't need to deal with it. Hold on.
In the bot lane, forcing 2 flashes just for a tornado and some presence by Akasaki.
Oh, wow. Whew. Looking at that again. Yeah, that was just straight up, they had vision pressure, so you can come that one around again. But now, like, if you want to rinse and repeat that, you need to get a control ward into, like, very inward into that lane for Sorlando and Kakarot just to get this stuff.
Ooh, nice. What in the world? The downtown, the rollback, they still had Akasaki there. Didn't even
a headshot? Yeah, oh no, it wasn't a headshot.
No,
it was literally just an auto attack.
Just some sweet damage onto an unsuspecting Senna. Those tornadoes from Wrecked by Kakarot are coming through with all the gale force possible.
Yeah, now that this is pretty much
hang on, here comes Tibu. He wants to get in for this one. He may have miscalculated. This might not be what you want, pal, as that's going to be a cell division pop.
Yeah,
and they don't even care about the cells. They want Pinhead Larry. They find that first. And now Zach's going to go down for sure. Akasaki comes through. It's a 4-0 start for Cleveland State. What in the world, Coco?
What is going on? Shysep also in this top lane is was having a little bit of a tussle. Seeing
Yeah,
if he could get
This
out.
one is fun. Has to be careful. Does not want to get that rage through.
Yeah. That's fine. But this is Dragon now for the side of Cleveland State. So this is actually a really good start for them. And surprisingly enough, when you don't have a lane that just completely zones you out and annoys you, and you're not on a short range late game scaling champion, you're actually able to do something in lane. So like Sorlando being able to come out on top here with, I believe it's an 1,000 gold lead. No,
Akbard
almost
in
2,000.
trouble, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So Orlando takes that one. Tibu on the run as well
That's
here.
2,000 gold lead.
He has to flash. They're coming in. Daze finds it with the ultimate too. Tibu, I'm sorry. Just chopped it for like 3/4 there. I'm incredulous. I do not know what I'm seeing right now. For anyone at home who's thinking, is this guy really this surprised? Yes, I really am. Holy cow, what a different light switch coming on now for the likes of Cleveland State to walk out with a blue buff as well. They're just taking everything they can all around this bottom side of the map.
Yeah, and absolutely dominate this one. Oh, that catch though. Will you get anything?
Restaurant, do you find this one or do you just get found? No, that's the first one coming out of blue buff as well. Transfer complete. Means that he should be able to waltz out of this one very nicely, putting the first point back on the board now for the likes of Western Washington.
Okay, well, that point being back for them, fairly good for this mid-game conversion, because now you have a Morgana that is able to at least, clear waves and then push it forward and then possibly prioritize the sideline and sort of help everyone get back up to speed. Because for them, they don't have the option of saying, all right, we can play it safe, we can play it slow, because their team doesn't efficiently scale compared to that of Cleveland State. So Western Washington does actually have to step on the pedal a little bit as Tibu looks for this top lane.
Well, yeah, definitely wants to find it for himself. Getting a kill now, just trying to get Shysep to overcommit to it. Pomeroy, though, not going to really be able to bait in those trades when his rage bar is so high. And Shysep, he's respecting that very nicely. So just kind of catch-22 there for themselves. Going to just walk right out of that one after a quick stun on the nose. And with that, now just looking for more action in the bottom lane. They want to find the gank here. Tibu is going in on the top side, but meanwhile, the Gale Force does come down on the bottom. They're trying to find a little bit more as they do want to get in onto Akbard. He's just running back. Yeah, this is not the way to go, and yet it somehow may still work for him. Akasaki actually having to flash for it, decides he does not want to let that one go, and he finds the kill from half health with just his own merit. So picking up yet another one, 0 and 3 to start for Akbard on this Senna.
Yeah, and you look at the gold now too, 2,000 gold differential. Where is it at? Well, it's all on Caitlyn actually. It is straight up.
The call the Forge God in the top lane. Senna ult as well. Shysep. He could have killed this one, and now just in danger for his own life. Pomeroy, though, wants to find the Mega Gnar. Here comes the Elastic Slingshot from downtown as well. Shysep, he's just going for broke because he knows he doesn't have a chance of getting out. And Pomeroy survives it, takes the kill credit as well.
Feels bad on that one, but hey, that's a reminder that you're not really ahead. Even 7 kill, 2 kill game for Cleveland State, you're still a 0-0 Ornn, and he's still a 0-0 Gnar. Like, all that gold is on that bottom side, as now we see Tibu just going ahead and jumping out of that danger zone. Now it's just like, this is where you can see that Western Washington has said, you know what, screw it. Like, we're done with bottom lane. So Orlando's won it. We can't just keep throwing fuel to the fire. We have to find leads elsewhere. So what could we possibly look for in this mid-top lane side? There is Rift Herald available. And, also, like, you were able to get that return kill on that top side as well for Pomeroy. Maybe continue investing in these solo lanes.
I mean, that seems to be the win condition there. You got 1 kill apiece on either side. You want to turn those into more, obviously, water those plants. And lane advantages, I think they're looking pretty good. I mean, when you just break down the CS differential there as well, you got almost 25 in the mid lane separating the two. Yeah. You got over 20, north of 20 there in the top lane as well. The kills to boot on those making the difference. This is looking very good everywhere except bottom lane and jungle. That's not the worst position to be in the world. A Gnar can carry a game, and Morgana can carry a game. Yes, you want Misfortune Senna a little bit further ahead, but you can live without it for now.
Well, yeah, like, they can't carry a game as hard as a Misfortune or Senna could. They also can't carry it as hard as a Caitlyn or a Janet could as well. But the thing is if they're able to really get to the point where they can just sort of be threats on side lanes, then that's where they could just provide that additional pressure that does overpower Sorlando and Kakarot because of that. But you know, here comes this gate. Does
Ooh,
miss baby
T-Boo.
gauge.
That's going to be a
Hefty.
pop right there onto the Cell Division. They're going to be able to take this one out very cleanly. And oh my days, well, he gets the kill credit, but I think Akasaki may have wanted some of that as well. Doesn't matter. It's 2 for the Veigar. Black Shield is already down, so that's going to hurt for Restaurant, but not bad enough to put him in any threat of diving potential. Meanwhile, Rift Herald, that's going to be the bigger story here. Akasaki going quite low for it. Restaurant, you got to be careful just how far you push that one. Black Shield does save you this time around, but Rift Herald, he's threatening that next plate. Oh my days, just threatening to send you right to the grave, and he follows through.
Yeah, he was getting real greedy for the Rift Herald just to see if he could take it down. He did, successfully. He denied that turret.
Task failed successfully, right?
Yeah.
Oh, meanwhile, this bottom lane, this is not good. Look at this one. Unstoppable. Sorlando finds one, and Akbar very low health. Squishy. Yeah, this tower, they got to be careful with it. Akbar, he wants to push back in on this. He's going to lose the tower. He's just trying to buy time for T-Boo to get in there, but they do knock him back up. It doesn't matter. He has the damage to get Kakarot in some trouble. That's a flash. Does find it with the smite. Meanwhile, Sorlando going to dive for this one, and I don't agree giving all that shutdown gold over. That was not worth your time. Use the net to get over the wall and out of there. You just gave 800 gold. Hands right over to the center.
Yeah, that is 800 gold over, and that is a lot of your lead. Like, you are still the lead, right? Like, you're still the 3,000 gold lead. Like, if you look at it, Sorlando, 6,500 gold to only 3,200 of Pinhead, and that is total gold. Like, that is the only differential between these two teams. So when you're looking at it, 11-4, it's not really that big of a differential anymore. It's just Caitlyn. So if Sorlando is nowhere to be seen, if you're having a skirmish and Sorlando is farming the bottom lane just to get for a turret, it's an even fight. And that means for Western Washington, they really can have a good bout and a good chance in this scenario and still try and get a lead into this mid game. 14 minutes. Akasaki just like, he actually might be in some trouble here.
Well, we'll see. T-Boo, the one that they want to find. He's the one turned back around. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. But now comes Pomeroy wanting to find it. Shut it on down. And the double buffs are over. Flash in place. Not what you're looking for that time around. And hey, pop the mastery. Why not? Everybody saw it. It's okay, baby. You get that one out free. And bot lane tower now going to go down. They don't even want the tower as much as they want the kill. Here comes Wrecked by Kakarot trying to get the slowdown, trying to get the tornado. That's the crit damage. Goodbye. Sorlando does this like clockwork. And I can tell you one thing for absolute certain, Coco, is that if we do see a game number 3, Jana Kate, not a part of it except the bans.
Yeah, that is definitely comes. Hold on, Pomeroy.
Oh, they get this.
I don't know
no,
about
they
this.
don't. Are you kidding me?
Oh.
He doesn't get that so close, but Sorlando there with the net just at the edge finesses it perfectly to survive this one, and now this could be dangerous. Restaurant taking so much damage. Daze wants to find it. He wants those buffs back, and he's looking for it. Do you greed this one? Yes, you do, but is it the end? Yes, it may very well be. Pulled back in by the Zac to get 1, not 2 down. That's going to be another huge pickup and double buffs to Gnar. We'll see how far these ping pong around.
Oh my goodness, this is games. That was such a close fight for both of those for both those teams, and they're like every single player was just on the tiptoe mirror's edge of life, no matter what. Like Pomeroy, when he shot out that water gun, like when Oh My Days shot that out, he was just a frame away from being hit by those crystal shards to just die because he was so low, but he didn't get hit by it. And then at the end of all of that, you still get some shutdown gold going over to your team. Let's just keep on reminding you guys, 4,000 gold differential. It's still Sorlando. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
that's it.
Like
right.
he's been
Just
growing, but like it's a cool reminder that it's like, oh my gosh, look at this damage, it's insane. But
hang on. Call the Forge God, gonna look for it, doesn't find it, but
oh
Pomeroy,
my gosh, so many people.
it's just a distraction. It's just a little bit of sleight of hand. You're looking left, Pomeroy's running right, and now he's in some real trouble here. Does gonna be almost actually does find it there. The tower doing the dirty work for him, slays Akasaki, and keeps this one still together in terms of the top lane moving forward. 3 kills now to the Gnar, feeling good. But the top lane tower does go down. Mid lane tower taken out as well. That is just not what you want all around if you are the likes of Western Washington.
Yeah, so with this now, you're actually for Cleveland on a timer because you need to start getting objectives and you need to start shutting people down fast. Like you have a 3-1 Gnar for Pomeroy. Cool, you're able to just get the kill on him. Restaurant's still 2-2. He's been doing fairly well. He also actually has a CS lead on Oh My Days, so his gold is actually fairly even. And the reason why you have a timer is because Pinhead Larry, as long as he's able to farm up these side lanes, and if he's able to get some turrets under his belt as well, then this gap for Sorlando is going to start to close. Not because of the gold differential, but because of the item differential. And you're sitting with a 2.5 completed item lead.
Oof.
Completed item.
Completed, yeah. Not even perspective. Completed. No, we hear you.
Like, and you need to make sure that you are able to get to the third, if not the fourth item before Pinhead Larry gets to at least his second, because then it's something where that gap is so far in between, which pretty much I would say you are on the road for it. You just need to finish it up and do it. But with this dragon now being a contestant, this is a potential location for Western Washington to turn this one around.
Yeah, I don't hate a team fight here because, hey, Caitlyn can't be damaging everybody at once, right? And you do
Yes.
have multiple threats that can make this one happen for themselves. So maybe if you get the right engage, if you start things off correctly, you could build this for yourself. And it's a decent Dark Binding, but it is onto Akasaki. Set's not the one you want to take on down here. They're going to go around the wall. Can't be taken down by that one, and that's a huge spell in. Trying to get a little bit more, but the Jana Monsoon is there, trying to find a little bit out of this one. Restaurant going so hard for Sorlando, but it is flashed out of, and now he's in kite range, and he is taken down. Meanwhile, Pomeroy as well, double killed out of this one. That is both threats from the side of Western Washington taken out. Tibu brings the dragon into the midst of things, but he may not be happy he did, as Cell Division is now popped. Nobody down for Cleveland. Yep, the health bars are low. Senna Ultimate not finding anything, and they're not going to be able to get back in onto this one, even if they want to. Because look at the Vader wall. He's there. Look at Sorlando. He wants the blood. The rest of the team will get the dragon. He's going to get Akbar. He's going to go for Pinhead Larry. He's not going to find it. That's okay, because the dragon does go down. And the lead is just getting better and better for Cleveland State, baby.
And now you have Sorlando, who has a 6,000 gold lead. This is exactly that tempo that they wanted. Catching that one has 1,300 gold. Can go ahead and complete that third item. And Pinhead Larry still hasn't even completed his first. Oh, they hit. Never mind. Yeah, he got us some Cheever. Okay, yeah. There you go.
You get it.
Now it's completed. But he still doesn't have his boots yet. And you have boots on Sorlando. So now, you look at that fight, it didn't go terribly until Restaurant really went Hail Mary, got way too far from his team to try and get that shutdown on Sorlando. Like, once he got that far and ambitious, that's when all of it went awry. They just needed to stay together, stay grouped up, push off the members of Cleveland State from that objective, and then just reset it. That's all they needed to do, but they got greedy for the kills, and it bit them hard.
Yeah, you can say that again. Down now 6.5k gold or so, but all three Drakes on the table are taken out. As the Cloud just gonna mean that this Jana Caitlyn can rush at you a little bit faster if they can keep stacking those for themselves here. Looking good to start this one off. I say start, we're cresting into the mid game now. Baron will be spawning in the next 5 seconds, and last game, I mean, CSU maybe had a slight chance at a desperation Baron if they wanted to find it. Now they'd have no problem taking that one out for themselves if it did come to that objective. Probably wanting to buy a little bit more time, though. You can just set up. You can keep farming on the Caitlyn, minions, towers, champions, whatever. Put on your straw hat and go to town. Farm it all. Yeah. That's what he's looking to do here. 11, 1, and 3. CS lead over everybody else in the game. I say that, actually. That still belongs to Restaurant. He's got that one. Yep. So as the Rift Herald is popped now, the mid tower, that becomes the focal point. As they're trying to save that one, is this actually destroyed already? Can anything more come from this? Yeah,
let's see what they're able to get.
Tibu, I think he could be in a little bit of trouble. Is going to get very low. I don't know if Cell Division's up just yet, but Akasaki, he commits a little hard for it. That's a Jana ult. That's some nice zoning. Look at that. Sorlando just dominating. They just throw down the cage. They throw down the Monsoon. They say, try to get near us. You can't. You can't do it.
Jeez Louise, that damage is insane. And it was more the fact that Kakarot's Monsoon just did so much healing. If that Monsoon wasn't there, that would have been a perfect catch from Western Washington, and they would have been able to take Osaki. But now it's just this brutish siege that's happening with Sorlando just throwing headshot after headshot on this turret. And there's that baby cage denying like the stuns as well that we noticed just a few moments ago. They do get to disengage. Morgana is coming up fairly soon, and ultimates will be online. And looking at this team sort of routing around. Hold on. All right, Tibu.
more. Tibu is pushing in onto this one. Akasaki going to be low here if he does not get out soon. He's trying to kite this one back. The rest of the team is chasing him, and there is the cage, baby. That just slams it on down and has been doing well for them thus far, but maybe it can just be waited out. Maybe this is not what they needed if they didn't put enough distance between themselves. There's another cage, very low cooldown. Tibu is dead, and now they're going to be trying to get in on his only Kakarot, though. That is the Janna. They will find that one for themselves at least. Now split, though. Restaurant going to be in some trouble. Are they flanked? Are they split? That's the question here. Just depends on who gets the kills. They want to find it. Akbar looking for him, but Akbar certainly going to go down. Akasaki picks that one up. Another one as well as he double kills the entire bottom lane. Restaurant's out of that one, courtesy of Sorlando, going godlike on this.
Oh my goodness, that was absolutely disgusting for that fight. It was so ambitious, just reach after reach after reach, and eventually falling into the jaws of Cleveland State. And now with Orlando being 13-1, let's do another weather check. Yeah, 7,000 gold lead, you know how it be. And now, you can look at Baron, look at their turrets, look at their Nexus. Anything is up for grabs here for Cleveland State, and it's just a matter of if they really set their minds to it.
Yeah, it's all on sale. They've got the gift card, and it's on sale. They didn't put the little clause that you can't use gift cards towards sale items. I don't know where I'm going with this one, but everything's basically free is what they're looking for, with the right application and business sense coming through for the likes of Cleveland State University. So if they got any business majors on their team right now, they're looking to pick this one up nice, clean, and easy. The Cloud Drake, the next one on their radar. That's what they want. They got the vision just a little bit around the bear and make sure that, hey, this can't be taken without us at least knowing. And now the pings are coming down. Hey, assist me. Hey, let's get the second one because we're just not fast enough yet.
The thing is, though, Cloud Dragon's Soul isn't actually that great for Cleveland State. Because the Soul grants you movement speed when you use your ultimate. You have to stand still for Monsoon. You have to stand still for Headshot. You have to stand still for
Vega, Primordial, right?
Yeah, it's really only good for Oh My Days and Okazaki. It's only really those. Shy Sept, yeah, sure, but you have to stay within that little zone to get that double knock-up, so it doesn't really do too much. It's just a question on, it's just that bonus cooldown reduction. That's what is really nice. It's now it's Shy Sept, his ultimate, it's only on a 96-second cooldown. Headshot on Caitlyn, 60 seconds. You can do that every single minute. Same thing with Monsoon. So that is what is the important thing for Dragon Soul for them. That, and more importantly, is a siege.
Yeah, we'll see if it even gets to that point, right? Because we're 24 minutes in, and the Nexus towers, the inhibitor towers, are being knocked on here. They have an open inhib mid. They get the kills that they need here. They're going to be looking very good for open inhib in the bot lane as well. They're just going to back it off, right? They get the one tower. They say, let's not push our luck too badly. This is where it gets a little bit trickier, this closer range siege, because there's a hell of a lot of wave clear on the side of Western Washington here, and they really want to thrive off the picks. Not as easy to do, but if you can draw them out like this, that may be it. Pomeroy, they're going to use a lot for him, but sure as hell they're going to find him. And now Pinhead Larry, the next one they want to get in onto. It's a great binding from downtown to buy a little bit of time. Akasaki does want to keep pushing it through. The redemption is there, buying a little bit more for them. Just trying to bring the wave up. You still got 30 seconds on this Gnar. Can you use it?
Oh, that baby cage, though.
Oh, beautiful. This is dangerous. Akasaki's getting in there. Here comes Zach on the backline. Tibu, what can you do for yourself? Nothing, as you're going to get just brought right back out. That cell division popped, and that's surely going to be a kill as well for themselves. Now the Senna does go down. Akbar not able to survive that one, and it's only Pinhead Larry limping back to base with just the slightest of HP. Ooh. He will make it, but the inhibitors, they're surely gone.
Yeah, and this is the exact same story being told. Blue side dominating red, left and right, though it is from a different department. It is from bottom lane this time, and not from that jungle player. So Tibu really feeling the pain here, really feeling how Okazaki felt in game one, but again, just like game one, you could have ended it then and there, but they decided, you know what, let's just back it off and play safe.
Well, they're going to find that one, yeah, safely. A safe and secured exit, I would say. Nobody going down for that one now. 28-9 on the board, almost 20 kills up. Only about 12K gold up. I say only in quotation marks. We're at 26 minutes. That's plenty of gold for the respectable amount of time that has been burned thus far. And certainly for how far behind we feel now the side of Western Washington are, because this is no longer just the Caitlyn show, my friends. Certainly still the focus, certainly still the star of the program, but we got some side characters we know and love at this point. Akasaki, Omades, both of these guys, huge threats, able to take out just about anybody on the side of Western Washington. And so now you can't just say, hey, kill the Caitlyn and we win. That win condition, that, hey, good luck burst, is getting to be very narrow because now there's 3 targets you have to deal with, and one of them is a very angry frontliner.
Yeah, very angry frontliner, as a matter of fact. Want to make sure that he is stayed tame as much as possible as well.
Yep.
Ooh,
Out of the frying pan, into the fire. Akasaki there dominating for himself. Find his 9th kill of the game. Wants to catch up. We'll see if he can do it here. So Orlando says no chance as he goes legendary. Coming in now, Pinhead Larry taken down. They're just sprinted out. All the carries getting all the love. Baby Redemption popped. The tower going to be popped as well. No chance it gets out of this one. No chance Redemption. Sorry, Restaurant gets out of this one. No redemption for him. So Orlando comes in, says, you're closed down for the virus, baby. Shout out to anybody at home feeling the pain and pressure of that like my family is. Meanwhile, Pomeroy, he's going to be feeling this one. This is a tower coming down. This is certainly going to be game number 2. Coco, I don't know how they pulled this off.
So Orlando, that is really
okay.
it.
I know how on paper. We go back in time to game number 1, right? You're sitting here, we're both thinking, man alive, this is a quick cleanup here for the likes of Western Washington. Just one more game, and it's essentially a formality, right? No.
Yeah.
Cleveland State say we're not giving up just that easily. It was just a bad level 1. That's all it took. But at the end of the day, we're coming through and pushing us to a game number 3.
I look at how that game went and how they also interacted to each other in game 1, and it's definitely something where Cleveland State wins through bottom lane, and that is the only way they win, is through bottom lane. Everything else is really just sort of congratulations prizes, like congratulatory, because it wasn't unless Orlando was there that they were really securing any kills until it got to like, yeah, well, like sure, Oh My Days has 1,000 AP. So for Western Washington, it's just a question of, do we actually win bottom lane in a sense of like composition? Like, are you able to shut him down? Do you get Sorlando offline? If it's a yes, then you pretty much have an extremely high chance of winning the game. So for me, it's like, if you just draft a winning bottom lane in a sense of like you just shut him down, you have such a good road for success already, because everything else is still showing plus signs for me for WW. But Cleveland State, it's sort of a different story where it's like, how well can we either amplify Sorlando or find different ways to win in this game 3?
Well, we'll see game 3 looming on the horizon here. I think both teams eager to close this one out and put a stamp on what's been a bloody back and forth series thus far. Very curious now to how that one will transpire. But of course, we do need to give the players just a little bit of time. We're going to throw it to a quick break before we get into game number 3 to close this one out. And when we come back, we'll have the conclusion of this series. We'll get there. Well, thank you for sticking with us through the break, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready now to get into the draft from game number 3 here. Been blue side heavy thus far, you could say. Well, now Western Washington, who made the statement in game number 1, looking to get back on that side. We'll see if it's all just blue luck or if, Cleveland State have figured out the momentum that they need at this point.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see who's going to carry harder, Sorlando or the entirety of Western Washington, because that is pretty much the name of the game for this one, just because of how the two teams played it out. Like, could be completely different. This could have just been like, it's just a happening. It's just how Sorlando went today, but usually maybe Omid is the one that is able to carry. Maybe it's Shicep that's the one also that has to be more of the carry instead of having to rely on tank duty. So it's one of those things where it has come down to who is truly the best Viking. It is a one-game bout. It is no longer this best-of-3 series. It is for the money here in game 3.
Each pillaged a village, each sunk some ships. Now they're both trying to square off in the last game of the Viking Bowl 1-1 here. Looking to make it all close out. Now with the Pantheon ban, nothing else surprising. Expecting to see the Vladimir off the table. We've seen that each and every time throughout the Wukong as well. Pretty consistent. And now, do they ban Caitlyn? Do they first pick it? What are you thinking here? They gotta change something.
If I don't see at least, I don't know, like, because I don't think you actually are scared of Caitlyn. It's just the fact that
Just the way you play it.
they picked a winning lane. It was, you picked Senna Morgana, and immediately when that happens, they had an answer. So it's something where maybe we don't see Senna this game. Maybe we just don't see that happen, and you do something completely different. You say, all right, you know what? Aphelios has been open this entire time. Let's do Aphelios instead. And then try and win through that way. So it's like, I would say it is more of a chance that you scared away the slow, safe lane instead of that. But even then, like, what do? Like, I guess, like, locking
Well,
in the
you pick
Senna just
Senna.
shows
You
that
double down.
they're just super comfortable with it. Like, I think that's the case. It's like there's no other way that they think that they can play the bottom lane outside of just Senna exists, so we choose it.
Yeah, well, hey, there you go. We'll see if Akbard can pull that one through, assuming he's still the one to take the champion out this time around.
Yeah.
Does seem to be the better of the two strategies, but not to say you can't put it there into the AD role. And the Elise picked up in the jungle this
Okay.
time around for Akasaki. Sets on the table, doesn't want it.
I like the Elise because it's something where it's the same mindset as Graves, right? Like, you are wanting to be early game, but you actually have tools that will help you in the ganking phase. Like, his struggle in game 1 was the fact that even though he was behind, he felt it even more because he had no true security to engage on those ganks and then get into the game. Caitlyn against picked for Orlando, so it looks like, you know what, you picked Senna, so we're going to pick Caitlyn again and try and bully you out of the lane once more. Janna is available this time around as well, so it's a question of what their answer will be on that one. Alistair, someone who you would not expect because you had Nautilus, Braum, and Tom Kench available, was the one that was picked for Akbard.
Yeah, I think I like the Braum best on paper here, but Alistair taken out for themselves.
Yeah.
Something that maybe they said, hey, look, we're just going to put Senna now onto Pinhead Larry. Akbard continuing on this new support trend, going to get Alistair for himself and can just bop away anybody that may come. Kakarot got a little too close for us, and that was the problem. So now we just shove him right out and away. No problems. The Morgana picked up this time. We'll see if they flex that one because Oh My Days or Wrecked by Kakarot could both take that one through. Oh My Days, he just saw it in the mid lane, fresh on his mind. Maybe he's thinking anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah, and actually that is a better lane though, like better than Janna Caitlyn, because Caitlyn Morgana secures so many good picks. Like, Janna, the way she would the way she interacts with Caitlyn is, it's like, okay, if you're able to get a good trade and you're like, hey, I'm going in for a headshot, you give her the shield, give her bonus AD, get a couple hits in, back out. Morgana, you can go all in. It's like Morgana gets that binding, Caitlyn throws down a trap, headshot, trap applies, headshot again, use the net, headshot, 3 headshots for free. Like, it's absolutely insane. So this is actually a much better combination for the side of Cleveland State. So I was saying for Western Washington, you should have gotten the better bottom lane. Already, this is very bad news for you coming in to this game 3, as through the drafts that we've seen, a lot of this carry potential has to again be on those solo lanes.
Well, certainly looking to be the case thus far. We've not seen the solo laners is the only thing I can say, maybe to the benefit of Western Washington here. They are going to have to blind pick at least one of them, and they know it'll be going into a Renekton, so they're saving, excuse me, I'm sorry. They are saving that last pick to decide, are they going to flex a Morgana mid, or are they going to take it support? It looks like it's going to be the support. That's why you leave it open. Then you just counterpick the mid laner. You do what you like here. I like the Quinn into a Renekton if they do decide to put Pomeroy on that one. Quinn's the kind of champion that can take things over, but the tank factor is what I do start to worry about a little bit there with Zach and Alistair having to shoulder too much of the burden. Poppy, they close that one out.
So yeah, like Quinn, it's something where it's like you like it for the solo lane, you like it for that possible roaming. Like I would be interested if you actually like flex the Quinn. Like if you locked it in, flex Quinn or mid if you have a better matchup, and then you have a roaming mid laner that can really apply some damage. But the Poppy is a lot better for competitive wise. Like it's there for lockdown. You look at Cleveland's sort of composition that they have now.
Ooh.
With this lock-in, all that possibility that Poppy has says, hey, we're going to zone, Alistair saying we're going to zone, Zach saying we're going to zone, it's all gone because Vel'Koz, Kaylin, and Morgana would rather be playing and poking at you with the 10-foot stick than being in the thick of the fight like Renekton. So now it's more on the upper hand for them to engage rather than to disengage.
Yeah, I mean, they have so much decision making with how they want to approach a fight here. It's really only Renekton that needs to be in people's face. They can still keep a distance, even with Elise in spider form as just their primary engage. Two of those very fast moving skill shot style snares, roots, stuns, what be they, but Morgana and Elise just slowing you on down there. That's going to be a lot to now dodge for the very immobile composition coming out of the side of Western Washington here. None of them have those fun little dashes, dodge, ducks, dip, dives, and dodges again, that kind of stuff. So with that, I'm very curious to see now if Western Washington can kind of weather that storm that's going to be coming at them from 10 miles away.
Yeah. And so it's something where for Western Washington, you still actually have the upper hand to play. Like you have Zach come in with the engagement, Poppy can come in as well and cause some chaos, as well as Alistair. Like you have 3 members who can start a fight, not to mention the Senna that can cause a snare. And then on top of that, all of this, the beautiful cherry to put it on top is that you have 3 wonderful vehicles of transportation for an Orianna ultimate to get that combo. Now it's like, all right, look at this beautiful wombo combo. Senna's going to be in the back line, just throwing out the damage. Alistair's going to be farming. Senna's going to do fasting in lane. We just have to survive laning phase, get out of it, and then throw ourselves into a just absolute death ball to chew up Cleveland State, where you look at Cleveland, it's like, all right, well, if we win lane, we win game. Let's just play this game out just like we did last.
Well, we'll see if they can make that happen. Both squads with a lot to lose on the line here for themselves. Not in the big sense, just bragging rights, right? It is the show match, but I think pride has certainly entered the equation here. And we'll see who walk out hanging their head low and holding it high as the champions of this one. But of course, we do have to get into the break there. About 90 seconds to kill. Of course, we do need to shout out our sponsors, the wonderful GameStop and HyperX. Thanks for everything they're doing this season to keep CSL up and running. We could not do it without them. We couldn't do it without you, the fans at home either. So thank you for holding it down with us here on this wonderful Tuesday night. We're going to be throwing it over to a quick break. And when we come back, we've got game number 3. Well, thank you for sticking with us through the break, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 3, it all comes down to this. Blue side victorious thus far. And now, of course, it is going to be Western Washington back on the blue side from their game number 1 strategy. Maybe looking to try a little bit of that game number 1 magic as they all do run in yet again. We got to do this quickly. That means, in case you're just joining us and don't know, it's Western Washington on the blue side. Pomeroy in the top lane. T-Boo in the jungle. Restaurant coming into the mid lane. Pinhead, Larry, and Akbard running AD and support.
And mirroring them is on the red side. It's going to be Cleveland State. Shicept on top lane. Okasaki in jungle. Oh My Days in the mid. And Sorlando and wrecked by Kakarot in that bottom lane. And, you know, this is something where, for me, we started this off as a joke. Like, all right, it's a for fun game. Like, nothing is technically at stake here. But we put it at stake, just between you and me, that whoever wins this is the better Viking.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I was also thinking during this is like, I should get a Viking haircut. Like during this pandemic, I actually can't go get a haircut. So I'm like growing out my hair.
Oh my.
And I'm really thinking of braiding it into like, you know, those Viking stuff. Like the new, like I've been watching Vikings lately. And
So you're looking for that Ragnar cut.
they just look, yeah, I'm looking for the Ragnar cut. Like they just look so cool. So I'm like, maybe I should get some of that. Like get the buzz, get some braids going on. The only problem is I can't grow a beard. So could I ask you to help me out on that front?
Sure, actually, yes.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is once I get my camera back on here. Sorry, the light blinds me when I'm casting. I like to turn it off, and then that's
Yeah.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna rub our chins together, and I'm going to impart my beard magic unto you. Right?
Oh,
so hold
is
out
that
your
how it
hands, rub
works?
your chin, and receive the beard magic.
Hmm.
I give this to
Splendid.
you freely.
Nice. My dad never gave me this honor, so hopefully it works.
Viking style. You have to braid it when you get it in. Though. I could never. I've
Oh,
never
yeah. No.
tried that. Just
You should braid it. You should try it out.
give it a
Get some
shot.
Gimli vibes. Like get it all braided
dig it.
around.
In the
Yeah.
words of Gimli, I could do that.
Aye. We could do that. But, you know, outside of that, I'm thinking like with this pause, we're getting a little bit more
Players are
time to
watching
like
Twitch right now. Hey, don't
yeah,
do
hi,
that.
Twitch.
Don't do that. The players are they're looking. They said they're talking about beards. We're on to
Yeah,
you.
I see what they're doing. Ah,
Tisk
well.
tisk.
Yeah. Okay, so this is something where
They know
it's
the
like
map positioning now.
let's talk to them a little bit more though. Like let's not give them any insider thoughts. Like let's not give them actually what we think about the game, but let's say like hairstyles. Like what is the hairstyle that you had as a kid? Like growing up. Like what was the cliche one?
I think I just had that like terrible little boys cut from the 50s, like some Leave It to Beaver style.
Yeah,
Hair
sounds
lying around because my parents took me to an $8 barber that they'd been seeing for like 9.5 years.
yeah, that's sort of how mine started out. But actually, hey, we're back in the game, so we don't have to live our terrible childhood dreams and memories anymore, and we can actually think a little bit more on like what this strategy for these two teams is, right? Like on paper, get Orlando online for Cleveland and win your lanes. Shicept can do carry and Renekton. All My Days just technically needs to live and tear people apart. Where, you know, for Western Washington, it is a little bit more complicated, and you actually have to sort of prepare yourself and sort of be a couple steps ahead of Cleveland to actually be ready for what is to come.
Well, yeah, what is to come is the big question on everybody's mind, I think, as they're trying now just to get in the faces in this bottom lane. You can tell both sides want to be aggressive, but it's Kakarot and Orlando that are trying to get right up in the faces. And well, they know they can do it. Senna, Akbard, you're just not as, or Alistair, I'm sorry, Senna, Alistair, you're not as threatened by here early. So they want to play up. They want to push this one out. I'm expecting a little bit of jungle love after this clear for T-Boo.
Yeah, I'd expect that as well. Oh, I did sort of look that, look at Pomeroy's, well, Pomeroy's health was pretty darn low for a while. Actually, no, it was Shicept who was pretty low for the while. He had to really heal up on that one. Still taking a brutal amount of health. That is obnoxious. Like, this is how deadly this top lane is. Like, because A, Poppy's base damage from level 1 to level 7 is insane. And actually, here comes that fight with some damage.
Not the flash you want. Yeah, that was Shicept getting a little bit eager beaver there for himself, and
I think you have tower down.
Yeah, just has to be careful with that one. trading back and forth just across everywhere. The trades are so aggressive right now. You can tell this is a very chippy game of League of Legends. The atmosphere is angry as Oh My Days actually wants to go back in and says, what else you got? You ain't got the combo. You can't do nothing to me here this time around. I'm coming after you, and does so, I think, with Qualm.
Alrighty, okay, sounds good. Nice little knock up as well for all of that damage that happened, because I'm looking at Okazaki, because you just had that gank in the mid lane. You have to start finding some priority in these lanes for, I'd have to say, like, just for your own sake. Like, not for Shysep. Shysep can say, you know what, I'm gonna get TM out, I'm gonna keep trading, I'm gonna be fine. But if you can get some priority in the jungle to where you can constantly look for these pressures like you're doing now, then it
he
just
wants
speaks
to
so well
find
for
it
your
so
team.
low, but not going to be able to get it. Just a sliver of HP at the end of the day.
Oh, Pinhead.
Oh, meanwhile, top lane, gank comes through, just gets the damage down with the double buffs, but not enough to seal the deal either. Not quite on the same page with Shysep there.
Yeah, it's okay. You pop the W as well from Pomeroy, so he'll be able to get out fine. It'll be difficult for Shysep to stick on him. Okazaki with the repel will have a little bit better luck because it does not negate the drop down from the untargetability with her zoning. Now with the rest of Western Washington's team fairly low, I'm going to be a little bit concerned for them for the next few minutes because they need to actually like force people off of them. Yeah, like push them away. Say, get off of us. Give them a little bit of room to breathe, possibly reset, and then come back to these lanes and fight again. Like Tibu, start looking bot, buddy. Like you really need to look bot and get people off of Pinhead and off backboard.
Yeah, I mean, because even if the deaths don't come through, look at the CS differential. It's already building here. 13 to 38, and that's only going to get worse. Meanwhile, top lane first blood. Shysep getting the sneaky kill under tower. It wasn't even all that sneaky. Pomeroy had flashed, but you got the feeling he thought he was just a little bit safer than that, which has kind of been a motif, if not a whole full-fledged theme of this last game, now coming into game number 3.
Yeah, and that is exactly what you wanted from Cleveland. Win your lanes, win the game. That is all they need to do. Is now Tibu on this bottom side, just sneaking around, seeing if he could find anything just to leak through. But it doesn't look like he's going to get anything on that one. Going to go ahead and recall, see what he can grab for himself. You know what? Totally fine on that end. Just grab a couple items. Actually, what else did he get? Trying to see here. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. Not too bad for him, you know, just a ruby crystal.
It's a decent start, right? Hey, look, you need it, you got it, all good, but maybe not if the Elise comes in here. We'll get spotted out by the ward, so Okazaki gonna be eyeballed this time around. Does throw down the, hey, come help me kill this dragon. Maybe, you know, you're looking at, well, at least the vision from the rest of this sucker, so.
Ooh,
Can't say he didn't throw down the ping. I don't agree with doing this while Vel'Koz is backed, actually.
Yeah, like you don't have any priority. Like you have no mid priority. Look at where the members of Western Washington are. They're on you, and they already actually have the rest of Sorlando and Kakarot zoned away. So don't do this, buddy. Like don't put yourself to this. Like your team is already doing so well as it is. The CS differential is amazing here for bottom lane. Sorlando is dominating. Is literally like double the CS over both Pinhead and Akbar combined.
Yeah.
And top lane, the trades are going splendidly so far. So just don't int. That's really it for Elise, and see if you can actually find some catches here or there later down the line.
Yeah, I do want to call attention to this because it was 13 to 38 the last time we checked up on the difference between, you know, Senna and Sorlando. And granted, you can say, okay, well, Senna's not needing as much of that because you're going to get it out.
35 to 61 now.
All that, yeah, but he's gotten 5 in the amount of time that we've seen. Almost another, like over 20. I think it's 23 now going to Sorlando.
Yeah,
that's unsustainable.
Oh, Pomeroy's super low. He just took
yeah.
a brutish amount of damage, actually. He had to go back, get some health back. But it does mean that turret plate's going to be going over to Shysep. So that's actually a real bad loss there. So it's like, this is something where even though it's just 1,000 gold lead, this is where if it continues to act like this, it actually becomes a team-wide concern. Unlike last game, where like last game, yeah, it was like 4 kills, 0 deaths for them at this stage. But it was because they had so much. But hold on, Tibu, seeing if you can possibly come in and get some redemption.
Yeah, you're playing a little bit out of your lane here now, Shysep, just trying to go too deep into it, and there is the danger. You didn't have the ward to save you in time, and maybe wants to just get in onto T.
That's a lot of damage.
They call in Restaurant. They need 3 just to take him down. Does Okazaki make a difference here? Does not find it, but now here comes the Vel'Koz as well. The Shockwave does come in and finds both, but they don't get the health down in time. That's still alive. He's just repelled. He's come down. Pomeroy's getting in onto one. He wants Shy Step. It's going to be a double kill. Top laner, and now, oh my days. Can you save it? The double buff is on. That is one slowing Poppy, but he's worried about his HP bar. Now here comes Tibu, wants to get in. I don't love this flash, but do you make it, or do they pull you right back into the jaws of death? Pomeroy, what can you do here? Wants to find it. The HP bar's low. Oh my days, you are kidding me that he survives that. That is not human.
Oh no, it is not. Straight from the void, that skill coming out from the mid laner of Cleveland State. Barely bringing it back. You know what, this is what sucks. Like, you know, just a note for production, like, we were joking as well that this was going to be the closest series we have yet had on broadcast. And this is just a for fun game. Like,
no, we started this before the game started. Like, hey, watch this be the most competitive League of Legends we watch all year, because the stakes are low and it's not, you know, an official game and everything and all that fun. And so
coffee ready, like,
so we have this going on. It's fun. Game number 1 starts, and we're kind of all thinking to ourselves, well, okay, no, that was fun while it lasted, right? There's no way that Western Washington, with this kind of just brutality in their first game, and how just good they looked at literally every position otherwise, seemed like they could, you know, really fumble this. But now it's coming back. We're 2-3. There's a slight goal lead about to the tune of 2K now, favoring that of Cleveland State. They had one hell of a game number 2, and pushing us now into game number 3, trying to take the lead. But you can tell it is so scrappy the way that they're clawing for it.
Yeah, and like, this is all they need to do. Cleveland State is just, you know, make it chaotic. You look at the goal lead now, 2,000 in the lead. A lot of that is actually divided amongst its members instead of just being onto one individual, so it's doing pretty well for themselves. That's the combo that I was talking about. You didn't even have Kakarot there for the binding, but it was literally Starlando was just like headshot, headshot, trap, headshot, into net, headshot again. So it's like, that combo is just absolutely obnoxious, and that's what they've been dealing with this whole time, is another dive in the top end.
They want to get it. Pomeroy, though, I don't think you careful. This is
not
ideal.
Damage.
It's a good flash out. And now here comes Tibu, baby. Slap that one back down. Bring us 3-3 apiece.
Nice. That's actually great from Western Washington that they communicated the aggression from Shy Step, saying, all right, he's really cocky. We can go ahead, get some extra shutdown gold. I have summoners up and available. He doesn't have flash. Let's take this one and take the win. But even then, with all those resources lost, bot lane is still in trouble.
Oh, and here comes the Vel'Koz. Akbar in some real trouble, making a double kill as Oh My Day slaps it right on down from the absolute edge of both his ultimate and his QE, whatever that one that shoots the geometry bombs that you do love so much. Now they're trying to come back in, though. Restaurant wants to find this one, trying to save the plates. Can you do it, Restaurant? Kakarot. He's gone down. Sorlando.
Ooh, smite.
I don't think he gets out of this. He flashes kind of in place, but it was a little bit of stutter frame because he was dropping the net. He is going to get dove under tower here. He is going to get shut down. And Tibu feeling great about that kill. 5-5 on the kill board.
So that's actually terrible news for Cleveland and great for Western Washington, because now this chaos, even though that you want that for your composition to thrive as Cleveland, a lot of it is being reimbursed and in favor for the side of Western Washington. They're able to get these shutdown kills here and there, and they're able to find a couple of these skirmishes like what we just saw where Akbar was able to get some damage and sort of push Okazaki away, to where every time those trades happen, even though it's even in kill score, you still have a 2,000 gold lead for Cleveland. You look at like the map state and say, who truly does have pressure? And it still is a stalemate. Like, you can't really say Okazaki can prioritize any objectives at the moment, and then neither can Tibu. And really, like, the only definite is the fact that Shy Step's Renekton always has kill threat, no matter what, even under turret for Cleveland State.
Certainly, yeah, and Pomeroy, he knows he's going to be feeling that. He's a level down. He can't just take trades like that and feel good about it. Meanwhile, you probably just can't be that aggressive if you are the likes. Well, hey, I say that. Here comes the Vel'Koz. They want to come in. Cleveland State trying to make something out of this, out of nothing. 4 members. That's just the rescue squad coming in at that time. They're trying to back it on off, but if 4 members on the bottom side of the map for each team, that means the top laners are alone, and that means Shysept is going to do everything he can to get right in the face of Pomeroy. Eats the ultimate.
Owie wowie.
Yeah, takes the tower shot, but still, I think definitely could, under the right circumstances, dive, slice, dice, flash out of that one and still walk away with a kill. Has to be careful, though, how he goes about it.
Maybe backing off for that one
Oh,
for now.
good
Oh, that
enough.
damage is insane.
It's nuts. Sorlando's just a monster. It was a bad binding by Wrecked by Kakarot. Not going to beat around the bush on that one. You hit that binding, you get the kill. I know it's kind of through the minions, and he was expecting him to walk forward a little bit more.
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us. But either way, yeah, that binding goes slightly different, and Larry's in the grave.
Yeah, but this is something also as well that, like, when you see that damage, when you see how these teams have been trading back and forth, any fight goes awry, and it ends in the favor of Cleveland State, they could pretty much close out the game really quickly. Like, you look over at the side of Western Washington, their composition can scale, their composition's effective in many scenarios, but there are places that they're lacking. One of them is objective taking. They're not really that good at like taking the objective. They can zone, they can fight around it, they can disengage off of it easily, but they can't actually take it really fast.
No.
So, speaking of really fast, here's some trouble.
Well, yeah, he walks into that, actually. Akbar had a chance to maybe make something a little bit more happen. Didn't want to find it and does get popped up for that. It's a nice shockwave to find 4. Only the support on the outside of it, but Black Shield keeps Akasaki in good health, and they're not going to be able to push too much more off of that one. So while the ultimate positioning was nice, follow-up in the damage not there. Akbar being dead, I think, probably had something to do with that. And now the Drake. Well, that's what's on everybody's mind, but pops into the brains of Cleveland State just a little faster, and they get there with really no contest.
And I think that's just an inkling of what these two teams can provide. You want the chaos, you want the skirmish here again for Cleveland, and being able to find those picks gets you the chance to go and take objectives, because there is no objective contention or ability to do so from the composition of Western Washington. However, when you get that wombo combo and you get Oriole
Flashed over the wall. They want to find more. Speaking of wombo combo, do they go in? Pomeroy is there, and the Vel'Koz is down. That's a lot of damage taken away. Now can Sorlando kite? They all want to get in. All want a piece of this pie, and Shysept is nowhere to be found. It was a 4v5, make it a 3v5 instantaneously. Feeling good about that one. Shysept, I don't think you just walked down into this one. Just go back to top lane, man. Farm some minions. It's okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Like, you're doing fairly well for yourself in the minion department, so just keep on trucking. But, like, these picks here and there, this jump right in, like, he just goes in.
Oh, Shockwave finds him, pulls him right back. I thought they were out of that one, but Sorlando's taken down. Pinhead Larry finds it. And that's just a little bit of disrespect coming out of the side of Cleveland. They thought they had that one. Hey, so did I. But we were all proven wrong here.
And they reiterate the statement again. Like, you get the wombo combo, you get the fight that you want. You just need one tank there to set up Orianna, and it is over. But it's just a question of what they can do after that. Like, for this one, that was just a demonstration of their test. That's like, don't mess with us, sort of biting back at them, but they can't actually advance on their prey because, well, one, there's nothing up that's available to them, and two, they're really low anyways. Like, there's nothing on the resources side for like health or mana at that point, so they just had to back off and reset. So it's sort of like you had Cleveland State really bite at them, get some scratches in, but then immediately get shoved back and say, yo, give me some space, man. Like, don't mess with us, because this bear is hungry. Well, this Viking is hungry. Because either, like, no matter what, this is a total bar brawl. Oh,
look at that. Oh, not going to be enough damage to fall through at the end of the day, but the tower, that's the bigger objective taken off the map. Now, have to back off, have to give respect to this Zach, because an elastic slingshot from downtown can be dangerous, and I'm seeing a little bit of dissonance in the way that Cleveland State wants to play. 4 members of this team still just want to group and fight, and Shysept, he just wants to split push, right?
That's fine. That's fine. Chaos, like order and chaos in a sense. Like, you want that split pusher. Pomeroy, I don't know if he can actually still contest this Renekton at all. Like, Shysept totally fine just pushing and dealing damage here and there on a turret, and then just like going back and resetting. Oh, that damage is just insane.
They're going to come for him. They want to find him. The slice and dice gets the cell division on down. That is the popping the ultimate as well for Shysept coming in. Akbar going to be the next one down. There's a 3-man shockwave. The repel is up. Do you make anything happen here? You're trying to run out of this one, Sorlando, but Tibu's killing spree on through. Meanwhile, backline, it has come through for Shysept. He picks that one up for himself, a 2 for 2 thus far, but better targets taken down now on the side of Western Washington. Akasaki's a bigger threat at this point than the likes of losing their Senna Akbar. They want to continue the fight, but Oh My Days is so strong. The barrier, does it keep him alive? Pomeroy, he's got the beef, but does it get him out of this one alive? Maybe the minions might. Mercy me, this is going to get dangerous. They're trying to find a little bit more, and all the tower taking potential is still alive and well in the fact that Sorlando can still knock on this one from a fair distance.
I just like with Tebow going in and just getting taken out that quickly, that is what lost them the pressure. It was even for that 3 for 3. Restaurant was able to turn that fight and equalize it all. But once Tebow stepped a little bit too far, or Tebow got just a little bit too greedy, that is really what turned the tides and put it back into Cleveland's hands for play. Now they're going to be looking for this Rift Herald. Going to grab Shelly. Rift Scuttle as well was taken there. But again, contestions not available over objectives because there's no damage to secure those on the side of Western Washington.
Mercy, they do find this one nicely for themselves. That's actually now evening the score in Rift Heralds, but the stakes so much higher as it is this late. We saw Rift Herald number 1 kind of unglamorously taken away and popped in the bottom lane for the favor of Western Washington. It did get them their only tower down thus far as well, something to consider. Now, without that, and not even getting the second one on the board, you have to call into question just how they're going to be able to get these towers when they're sitting on a Senna who would be, probably the best bet in that regard, who only has just still less than 5,000 gold in their pocket. Pinhead Larry's not feeling good about this one. Keep in mind, there's no kills over on the side of Sorlando, but he's sitting at 7,200 gold. That's a 2.2k gold difference. It's just nuts.
Oh yeah,
just off of CS.
It's very familiar. Don't really want it to be that familiar, but sometimes it just has to really survive on that point. And like this is still how fasting Senna operates.
Oh, hang on, what a catch! Pomeroy flashes out of that one, but Sorlando was there to find it anyway. They do take that one down. There's the ace in the hole coming out, but it's not going to be enough. Do try to find a little bit more to keep this fight going. Tebow in on the back line. He's got the damage. He's got them all together. The shockwave does help to find it as well, but it's repelled out of by the only low one, which is Akasaki. He's on the dragon. Akbar is already dead. How do they all survive that? Well, Restaurant says they don't. Wrecked by Kakarot is wrecked by Ori on this time around. Restaurant wants to find more. You can just feel it. He's looking for this. It's the double kill, and he's gonna get it.
Oh my god.
Beautifully done with the help of his good friend, the Mountain Drake. But now, have you stayed too long? Have you gone too far? Shysep wants to find it, but he's more interested in this dragon. That's what he's really looking for on the story, but we'll have to back away. They're giving so much respect to this one. Maybe not. Maybe that's the damage they wanted. Shysep says absolutely it is. Goodbye, baby. Pinhead Larry, what are you going to do? Nothing. You got 57 farm, dude.
Oh my goodness, this fight over Dragon is insane. It's all because of the fact that once you were able to take down Okasaki and Restaurant was still available, you could actually contest because there was no smite priority from the side of Cleveland State. But now everyone's back up again, and they're continuing to fight.
It just keeps going. There's the death beam as well. Again, that's shut down, though. They want to find more.
No.
Western Washington are back with a vengeance, baby. And they're trying to make more happen in here. They're trying to get in on it. Akasaki gets Tebow, though. And the backline is Shysep. He may have just become too unstoppable of a monster. It's a double kill for him. A double kill for Akasaki as well. 2 apiece. And Restaurant aced. The only one back up. It was so close. He was still dead from last fight, but is coming back through. So it's a re-ace of sorts. But they are going to get this dragon. Finally, thank God. Please go back and give me just a second to get my head together.
2 team fights for 1 dragon. That is quite the that's quite the combo there, buddy. Like I don't know about you, Chief, but like that's a 2-point deal that I could not turn down. And like it's something that is just so ridiculous. You do not see that in very often in any case scenario, especially with how coordinated these 2 teams are, understanding where they were at those times. Like it's just amazing with how Cleveland State was like, okay, we can take these objectives, we make a pick, we can take it, no problem. But as long as Restaurant's available and says, no, I am still up, I can still take down 2, 3 of your members by myself, then it's a question of like, really who is able to flex that condition harder. And once one of those conditions goes away, it is an absolute win for the opposing side. And it's just something where Cleveland has gotten the better of it for the recent history, but they're still only around 6,000 gold ahead. It's still fairly split up. A lot of that is still into that differential between Sorlando and Pinhead, but that also is a little bit of a ticking time bomb. It's 23 minutes in. Once you get to 30 minutes, Senna, it doesn't matter if she's 60 CS or 105,000 CS, she's still going to be scaling with those souls, and that's all she needs.
Certainly looking to pick that one up, try to get this one into a little bit of a later game composition, which is what they built for themselves anyway. In fact, I think a classically late game composition coming out now for the side of Western Washington here, and not the best ultimate coming through for Omedes. He wants to find that one. And he's a very damage-heavy Zac, and he's in the midst of 3. The Sen ult coming down as well, but it's going to be the Cell division as Kakarot with the Black Shield makes enough happen. Akasaki, though, not able to where he needs to be on this one, killing spree anyway, just barely staying alive as Shysep keeping them all busy under the tower. Ori can't get there if she's getting dove by a crocodile. And Pomeroy, are you kidding me? Akasaki lives through that. That is absolute insanity, Coco. They're all still alive.
And that means that with all 5 members available, they can just walk straight down this top side because they have minions available to take this down. Not a chance in heck that Akbar will be able to contest this one, and he just needs to wait a few seconds until his team is back up to even think about trying to come back for a return fight. And this is going to be most likely an inhibitor here for Cleveland State, if not 2.
This is absolutely insane. Look at the scoreboard, too. And just like, you sit here and you try to pin something on any member of, if you're looking to play the blame game, you know, who
it's
do you
impossible.
even start to fault on the side of Western Washington here? They've all, I think, done their roles fairly well. You could say the bot lane lost quite hard, but looking over at the other end of the aisle, I think this is just more of a bot-starved game in general.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Sorlando, he might be feeling this one. It's a nice binding and a teleport behind him. Well, here comes the crocodile. This shuts things down dead in its tracks. Is he able to find the stun? That's what they want to know. As the death beam comes down, it's a nice stopwatch to hold things off as Pomeroy's trying to get in. Shysep is low. The shockwave doesn't find much, and Shysep still trying to go through this one. Pomeroy going to be in some trouble. That's a double kill already. More to come off of this one is Pinhead Larry, the sole survivor. Wants to get out of this one, but Shysep looking for him. Has the double buffs. That's the downtown binding for the triple kill, baby. And in 24 minutes, just shy of 25, another inhibitor is falling, and I just worry that it could start to be more.
And that will be the start of this victory march for Cleveland State. I asked them, hey, you were able to carry through with Sorlando going, I think it was 17-2 in that last game. We needed someone just to win and carry harder. It was Shyseps, 11-2 on this Renekton. They have more carries than one, and it is going to be a win for Cleveland State coming back to take it against Western Washington.
Oh, my Lord. What did we just see? That was absolutely insane. If you told me at the end of game number 1 that we'd have this kind of series, I would have I would have called you a liar. That's what I would have done. I would have called you a liar. And now here we are. I'm being made a fool of, but what a game. Cleveland State University. Holy cow.
Man, I'm breathless from how crazy that whole series went. And simply because of the fact that you started game 1, absolute domination from from Western Washington, taking that W, and then immediately turned around. Like Sorlando went amazing in game 2, and then game 3, it was almost a complete flip of Shysep now dominating on top side, putting so many resources on Western Washington on stress and tension that the rest of his team was able to flow through. And that's exactly what they needed. They just needed to win lane. You had a pressure victory from bottom lane for Sorlando. That's a win. You really did well in that mid lane. Like, you went even. That was really the only lane that didn't win outright. And then top lane, of course, 11-2 Renekton. Very well played. And this was one hell of a show match for these two teams. And, GG to Cleveland State, taking the best Viking.
For sure, yeah, they definitely take the best Viking. It's not a crown; it's more of a horned helmet, but it is ceremonial and it is theirs. We're going to put this one away in the trophy case for now. I'm petitioning that we close this. That we say before we close out, but that we find these groups next year and see if a rematch is on the table. It may have been a show match, but it was just too much fun. It was a fantastic series to cast. It's a fantastic series, I'm sure, to watch. We do, of course, want to thank the players for making time to do it. We know that. It's not, they have busy schedules, even amid, I think, plenty of college campuses being closed and quarantine. Life doesn't just pause there. So to take time out of their Tuesday evening to play live for all of our entertainment, well, we absolutely love it. We want to thank both schools. We want to, of course, congratulate Cleveland State University on a hard-fought victory, especially after falling so handily in game number 1 to claw back and really punch games 2 and 3 lights out, well, you certainly earned it. Kudos to your entire players and support staff, should there be any there. With that, we are going to close out, and it's a little bit of a sad closing out because this is normally where I'd say, don't worry, we'll be back every Tuesday evening at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern, and we still will have a couple more games this season. But with our playoffs being on an indefinite hiatus due to just kind of the uncertain nature of everything going on with this epidemic that is spreading throughout all of North America, where the CSL is located, we do have to keep that in consideration and make sure that people aren't going out of their way to really end up playing under circumstances they don't need to, given everybody time to adjust and adapt. And so our playoffs on hold. You can find out more about when that's going to be coming back by visiting twitter.com/cstarleague or our Facebook as well. Still a very valid source of information for CSL. So that's as well, facebook.com/cstarleague. Keep up with everything we're posting there. Coco and I also love your feedback. If you would be so kind to provide it on Twitter, that's at Corvus Casting and at Coco the Dragon on Twitter. Definitely love to hear from you guys' thoughts about how we can always be looking to do better here for the CSL. And with that, just want to give a little bit of love to our sponsors as well, because we could not do it without these guys. GameStop has been helping us out all year long. You can find out more about what they're doing at GameStop.com/esports. Everything, try to keep this show on the road, helping CSL out throughout this entire season. HyperX as well on the back half of the season came in as a wonderful peripheral sponsor for us. If you need a new mouse, keyboard, headset, any of that kind of stuff, please consider HyperX because it helps keep the CSL on the air, up and running, moving and grooving, bringing you all the fun collegiate esports like this. And with that, we'll be back, but we just don't know when for now, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll say just simply until next time, and thank you so much for tuning in tonight.